my D&D streams. Fucking loose and fast. Fucking 3 sheets to the wind. Let's go.
Did anybody actually buy Divinity's Original Sin 2?
Not yet. I'm not even 100% sure how well my computer will run it.
I mean, I need to get a new computer too, but I think it should be able to do that.
Probably.
Too intensive.
That's the type of game that I can play with, like, on shitty mode. Like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
low
You don't really need
graphics
a
and
lot
stuff
of
like that.
graphics. It doesn't look that graphically impressive anyway,
No.
so it should be fine.
It's probably just particle effects and spell effects and stuff like that probably bog it down more than anything else.
Probably.
But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that.
I'm gonna try it.
I've heard it's got like an
all
almost tabletop level of sort of interactivity in its world, especially like the cause and effect. Like if you do something, it'll actually have sort of like almost tabletop style realistic ramifications.
cool. Fun.
Like I think like the elves, some of the elves have like a power where if an elf like eats like a dead person, like part of a dead person, they get their like thoughts and memories and shit like that. which is really weird, not like leads to all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's got co-op. And from what I hear, the co-op is kind of unlike most other games like that. It's co-op where you're not tied to each other. Like, say, Bones and I are, like, doing co-op together, and we'd be, like, on the same... Even if it was couch co-op, you're on the same screen together, and as soon as you get far enough apart, it goes split screen, and Bones can go to the other side of the map and just do whatever he wants.
Kind of cool.
So, it's like, the co-op, like, can be completely independent of each other.
Kind of neat.
And at the same time, though, like, if I go to talk to somebody, they may have already talked to you, and it may screw up, like, the whole thing I'm trying to do. Like, I might be trying to do a quest, and then I go to, like, talk to the guy for the quest and find out you've killed them as part of some other quest that you were doing. That screws me over, and you run into, like, all sorts of weird scenarios like that. I don't know. It seemed neat. It seemed real neat.
That's
And-
pretty neat.
Oh, I gotta move this.
Channel moved.
Oh, that's right. All my friggin' TeamSpeak things are turned back on. Whoops. Send that out. I'd probably done everything I needed to. Probably. Okay. Well, I guess we'll get started. This is the part every season that I dread. Because, especially this time, because usually I like practice it a couple of times and try to
User joined
remember
your
everything that I'm missing. This time I did not, so I'm just gonna have to wing it and fucking hope for the best. So, previously on season 1 of Dungeons and Dragons, the hero started out in Neverwinter, where they took on a job for the proprietress of the Fallen Tower Tavern. She wanted them to go into her basement, find out why there's a bunch of rats in there. That led them down into the sewers where they found a smuggling ring. A bunch of guys smuggling weapons into the city. They took care of the smugglers, and as they were kind of poking around, they got dropped in on by the Fuzz. The Neverwinter authorities were doing a raid. I guess they'd also been after these smugglers for quite some time. They got brought in front of... we'll pop people up while I'm doing this. They got brought in front of Captain Vincent Bellegarde, Master-at-Arms of Neverwinter, and sort of basically the captain of the guard for the city. He decided he was going to use the party to help investigate these smugglers. Their investigations led them to the town of Helm's Hold, where in the basement of a run-down, kind of halfway house, they found a portal to the Shadowfell. Apparently, this dark creeper named Modra was bringing in weapons from the Shadowfell. So they went through in pursuit, ended up at a gigantic sort of mercenary camp / weapons foundry construction place called Umbra Forge. Umbra Forge was owned and run by a man named Sarshan. A very clever and unscrupulous weapons dealer. Modra was an employee of Sarshan's and decided to kind of break out on his own. And like when Sarshan turned a deal down, he decided, hey, fuck that, I'm gonna sell to these people. And sort of went into business for himself, stealing Sarshan's weapons and selling them. The party ran into Modra, who blew up the main foundry in Umbraforge, setting the entire place on a ticking time bomb to destruction. They managed to escape along with a Shatterkai. Well, there was also a Shatterkai. But they managed to escape with a Gith Zorai named Dekar. Them and Dekar managed to make it all the way to the Shadowfell city of Evernight, where they found passage back to Neverwinter, and all was well for a short period of time. One of their contacts in Umbraforge, a woman named Lena, a Shatterkai witch, she also was a former employee of Sarshan. Between her and Dekar, they found that he was working for some mysterious figure, and whoever he was working for was draining souls from a place called Barovia. They went up, met with a dwarf named Gadrin Stonehammer, as like fucking words start to escape me. They helped Gadrin get his airship, the Gleaming Endeavor, back up and running, and he flew them down to the town of Albridge, where they met with a man named Graf Buren, if that is his real name. Graf told them all about Barovia, and how it was a place that was just on this infinite loop of sucking in adventurers, and sometimes spitting them back out, sometimes they die in there, and their souls are trapped and devoured for all eternity. They decided, hey, let's go to that Barovia place. Sounds fun. They went in, did some stuff, met with the resident evil vampire, a man named Strahd Van Zarovich. Didn't really placate themselves to him very much. He's not a big fan. They also met with a revenant named Vladimir Horngard. Not really best friends with him anymore either. He vowed a vengeance. He put like a vengeance curse on them as they slaughtered him and stole his stuff. But they managed to escape Barovia with the aid of Madame Ava, who was Sarshan's go-between, or not Sarshan, Sarshan's boss's go-between, and sort of the person left in charge of running the Barovia soul farm. She told them where to find Sarshan's boss. They went to a shadowy demiplane known as Void Harrow, and overheard Sarshan talking to a man named Sarah, that Madame Ava called him, who has taken the guise of a planar. Do I have later? He overheard them overhearing him. Decided to send them through. Basically, they overheard him talking about how he was trying to become a god, and that the Githyanki invasions and all the bad things happening were basically him just trying to make ends meet and get to whatever end he's trying to get to. The party got sucked into a vortex created by this strange being Sarah, and then were spit out into a strange, dark, grungy tomb, where they found on the wall it belonged to somebody calling themselves a Sararak, the Eternal. Which would be... So, the creature that had taken the Planar's body, the man that they were told was named Sarah, is actually a Sararak, the Eternal. Some, I guess, nefarious creature or person. They're not sure. But now, they are in a dark, seemingly abandoned tomb. And they also seem to be without their trusty wizard Dusty. Dusty, who...
Trusty really the word for him?
He was something. But yes.
Frugal.
So
Yeah.
so to get
Always
to
trust him to fall asleep.
yeah, to get to the sort of short-term part of this, yeah, so you guys got sucked through a Sarak's portal. I wonder how many times I'm going to flop between a Sarak and a Sararak. Like, that's... I should keep a tally. And then whichever one I use more, that's what I'll call him. Let me get my pencil. That's like 1, that's 2, and 1. Okay, I'm going to keep track of that. So, yeah, you got sucked through the portal. When you guys... As you guys were being sucked through, you saw Dusty hanging on for dear life, and he seemed to hang on way better than a lot of you. That old man strength kicking in. So you did not see him, get sucked in, and you guys have been in this chamber, this large chamber, for some time now, and he has not reappeared. The only bit of Dusty that seems to be here with you would be his bag. After a few minutes of like searching around, you see that his bag is, just kind of laying there on the floor. That it must have like slipped off and got sucked in. Other than that, you have no idea what has happened to him. Checking inside his bag, you guys find the scales of resurrection that he was carrying around. Some random, just miscellaneous knickknacks and stuff that don't seem to be of any value or importance. You don't find his money, strangely enough. Like, you think he must have, kept that thing, tucked into his codpiece or something like that. He was a bit of a weird old guy. That's probably what he did. Didn't trust anybody taking it. And you also do find a small stone. It's probably about the size of, a small potato. And it's got, various dwarven-looking runes kind of carved into it.
Was his robe on when he was being sucked?
No. You know what? Yeah, I guess that would also be in there. You also find a Red Wizard of Thay robe, kind of tucked in there. You probably find the scales and the rock wrapped up in the robe.
We thought it was lined in red. That was the robes.
That was the robes. So, you guys find yourselves in a large, about 100 foot by 100 foot room. This room is just a forest of columns, a lot of which seem to have once been painted a myriad of pastel colors, but now, most of their paint and that is just faded and chipped away. There's just this large layer of dust on pretty much everything. It's just... this place looks neglected, and nobody's been here for a very, very long time. To the south, there is a large stone dais, atop which a cracked and broken black obsidian throne with skulls carved into the front of it, as well as two large green gaping-mouthed devil faces that are in the northwest and northeast corner of the room, about 20 feet off the ground. This is kind of what they look like. You're able to piece that together by looking at the two, but a lot of parts of the visage are cracked off. One's missing a horn, the other one's got a big chunk of the jaw missing. They seem like they've seen better days.
No one's probably been here for a while. So we need to find out where we are and how to get out.
Eagle-eyed viewers will also notice that there is no longer maps, and I've made the cam slightly bigger because I've decided to say, the hell with it. No more maps. You're going theater of the mind now. Better cams and bigger, better cam software will be incoming as soon as I find something that suits my needs and doesn't destroy my wallet.
So, Are we skipping over like the end of last session where we went into the room to the north?
Yeah, essentially, you guys went into the room to the north, saw a message, a faded, magically written message on the wall that said, like, you who dared to violate my tomb now pay the price. Stay here and die slowly of starvation, or open and enter the door to the south, where certain but quick death awaits. Whichever you choose, know that I, a Sararak, the Eternal, watch and scoff at your puny efforts. So, you know what? It's probably going to be a Sararak. I know it's supposed to be a Sararak. Well, at least according to Chris Perkins, it's supposed to be a Sararak. I don't believe that. There's too many R's for it to be a Sararak.
I heard on the stream today he called it Asacrack as well.
Probably.
We should probably...
I've listened to Ready Player One too many times to not know it as a Sararak. Like, I can't unlearn that word at this point. Yeah, so I gotta stop moving my devil face. I'm used to scrolling. I'm used to fidgeting with my map. So yeah, you guys, like, glancing around the room, the only exit you happen to see is a, like, big stone door to the west. So basically, this directly in the center of the western wall seems to be a doorway that is very slightly ajar. That is the only entrance or exit to this room that you happen to see at this time.
Staying here is not going to get anything done, so we should probably go at that door. Agreed?
At the very least, check it out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Considering the way to the south doesn't seem very friendly.
So I'm going to stealthily go up to the cracked open door and try to look in.
Okay. Just for my sake, I'm guessing, Jez, you've got your super powered flashlight out? Your sunblade?
Oh, is it dark in here?
If it's dark.
Oh yeah, this room is essentially pitch black. I kind of like to get because we were starting to run overtime last time. I kind of hand waved in. I kind of hand waved in. It's like you guys lit torches and looked around, but
yeah, I mean,
yeah. Essentially, this place is absolutely pitch black.
As soon as it's dark, I would light up my torch, my flashlight of a sword.
Yep. What does that thing go? 30-60? Like 30 bright and then 30 more dim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think it might be more than that if I want it to be.
No, I think that's the cap. God, I'd have to get Curse of Strahd out.
No, it's in the DMG. 1 second.
That I have.
Oh, it starts at 15.
Yeah, I think 30-30 is like the max that you got. I remember it was not as much as I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's as much as the light spell at max.
Okay.
So I will immediately crack that out as soon as I can't see, because I know where that's at.
You crack open the door, and before you is a hallway. You notice that what you thought was a stone door, like, you kind of put your hands on it, start to, like, push it, and, you know, the grime and the dirt, like, caked on dirt, just kind of start to crack away, revealing sort of a, not shiny metal, it's kind of dulled, but a sort of pristine metal underneath. Metal that is, while it does have, like, some marring, it seems to have held up very well despite its age, despite its likely age.
I honestly thought you were going to tell me the door's made of plastic, and the set piece falls off.
No, the door is essentially like stainless steel.
Yeah.
Does plastic even exist?
Nope.
No.
For the time being as well, I'm gonna pick up Dusty's bag, and then we'll...
Okay.
If we want to divide them, we'll worry about that later.
The bag, you have acquired one bag with resurrection scales, a Thayan robe, and a strange stone with carvings on it.
Well, that was the sending stone that Gadrin gave us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The Thayan robe is just the one that gives him the ability to make undead, right?
Yes.
It was raised dead, yeah.
Yeah, it was raised dead.
Yeah.
I'd have to
Okay.
I'd have to look up what the specifics were from it because I don't remember. I was hoping he wrote them down. I don't think he did write them down. That's fine.
Sounds like
That's
data.
fine.
You really should be able to see it if it put it in his inventory.
So, yeah, so you push open the door, and the door seems to lead to about a 50-foot long hallway that branches off to the left. Like at the end of the hall, it turns to the left, which would be south, and continues that way.
Is there any movement in the hallway, or is it just clear?
Nope, it seems to be completely clear.
Okay, I'll motion to my friends that the hallway's clear to come towards the door.
I will stomp on over, as I am giant.
Making all
Why are
this
you
noise
giant?
as you go.
Dang Pyro, just stomp. I won't even try and sneak.
Well, I mean, this place has been abandoned for a while. Maybe everything here is dead.
This a place called that says like a Sarax tomb. How dare you disturb me? I don't trust it not having something undead.
Not everything needs things to live.
Trying to be optimistic because this is freaking me out.
There's no time for optimism.
Okay.
Our friend is
worry.
probably dead.
Because you can.
Friend is.
Let's.
Use him
I
as a
guess I'll
shield.
start making my way into the hallway. Just slowly going down the hallway in case I hear anything.
So, as you make your way down the hall, you notice that once you get to the end, kind of peer around the corner, that the hallway continues down another like 10-15 feet, and then it kind of like sort of the nice constructed hallway kind of ends in a rocky wall, and in that rocky wall is a small tunnel. Looks to be probably about like the mouth of the tunnel is probably about 3 feet in diameter. Yeah, so it'd be easy for any of you to kind of like get down on your hands and knees and kind of crawl in, but yeah, it'd be a bit of a might be a bit of a squeeze for Pyro. Other than that,
Well, it's the only way out. I'll go first.
Seems to be. Do you want me to cast light on you? So
Yes,
Let
please do.
me. I could go.
I remember last session, well, I wasn't there, but I watched it like last week. Wacky did cast light on Bones already.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
sure.
I could go. I have
She could
dark
also recast Light on Bones because
I mean-
it's just a cantrip. She could cast it on Bones all day. over and
I'll
over
go,
again.
I'll go first.
Sure.
And yeah, no problem. Keep me in dim light and I'll be fine.
So yeah, I guess I'll dim down my sword to 15-15 so that, or no, I can dim it all the way down to 5-5 just to not be able to see, but she'll be able to.
So nice, I don't have to adjust a token for that. Oh,
Exactly.
that's so nice.
I guess I'll go behind Jez then.
So-
He's going behind her.
Yeah, you guys start to crawl through the little tunnel. It continues on for a while. It goes probably about 120 feet. After which, you guys end up in, like, it eventually turns to the left about 90 degrees, and you end up in another hallway. Similar to the hallway that you were in before. This hallway seems to go back north. Like, you know, when you emerge from the tunnel, the hallway continues to the left. Then the hallway also continues to the right, and it seems like to the right was some kind of secret passage, because, you know, there's a wall, but then there's like a big hole in the wall that's been like pushed open. So, like, it looks like it was some kind of secret passage into this hall.
Looks like
Once
this tomb.
once upon a time.
Looks like this tomb was being.
Yes, and
Weird.
beyond the secret passage seems to be more hallway. Like, it just basically the hallway continues on past it.
Lovely. Should we...
We should probably
Keep going.
keep going through the secret holes.
I'm wondering if we should like mark Oh, if you'd even be able to mark like our way or something.
I can leave some ball bearings.
I mean,
Yeah, you do have like
what?
half a bag of ball bearings
I
left,
don't
don't
need
you?
it. I'm gonna leave a trail of ball bearings.
Sure.
Okay.
Just every corner we come to, put one down. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll
So,
cast light on one.
so you guys start to move down the hallway to the right, sort of through the secret door. And as you start to move through it, you notice that it is a cross intersection. It continues for probably about another 30, 40 feet in front of you, and then it goes left, it goes right, and it goes forward. And encompassing almost the entire 10-foot by 10-foot floor at the intersection is a pit. So essentially it also goes down. It's a Z-axis intersection.
Three dimensions.
So the people with low light, like Wacky and Lawage, you guys can notice on the other side of the pit there seems to be a closed door, about 50 feet or so. There's about 50 feet of hallway on the other side of the pit with just a closed door at the end of it, and then you haven't really gone down and looked down the other hallways yet.
Looking down the pit, what's at the bottom?
Okay.
Or can I see the bottom?
So as you guys make it to, like, I guess if you have, like, Jez hold some light, like, you go up, you kind of creep up, look down the hole, and see black. Once somebody with some light kind of gets near you and shines a bit of light over it, you can eventually see the bottom of the pit. It looks to be about 100 feet down.
New question. Is the pit, does it look like the edges are man-made, or is this something that was, like, caved in?
No, it looks completely man-made. It looks like a trap that perhaps somebody sprung.
I probably. So that
I
we
would
can
like
see it,
everybody
drop
to
some
make perception checks.
Perception check, go!
Well,
Oh, good.
Wacky
Starting
did
off
well.
strong, guys.
Yep.
Everybody
We're all
doing
starting
super
off
good.
right.
So,
12 and 13 is not terrible.
as you guys are, like, Bones can kind of hear something off in the distance. You hear what vaguely sounds like singing.
Do I have a ballpark in the direction?
You believe it's
Hallway
coming
or
from the
pit?
left.
Left. Okay.
So, you kind of, like, peering down the hall.
I heard singing
like,
from the
when
left
you-
hallway, guys.
Yeah, when you guys look to the left and look to the right, sort of down the other two hallways, you notice that the one to the left continues on for another, like, 20, 30 feet or so. And then it opens up into, there seems to be another pit, and right on the other side of that pit is a slightly adjacent door. And then there's
How
also
big is the pit?
10 feet by 10 feet. Like, it encompasses the entire hallway, like, wall to wall.
Yeah. So basically, we can go from one side to the other by startling the corners, but there's no other way around.
Yeah,
We have to
so
go around it.
to the left is the pit with an adjacent door, and Bones, that is where you think the singing is coming from that adjacent door. To the right, the hallway continues on for a bit, and then it turns into stairs that go up, and beyond the stairs is a bit more hall, and then the hall kind of, like, turns out of sight.
Well, if they're singing from the left hall, that means there's something over there.
I don't trust
They're
anything
good or
that's
ill.
in this place.
I don't either.
If it's a tomb, I suggest we take any stairs that go up, because it's probably underground.
I would have
Oh,
to agree
no.
with that. Looking forward to seeing what's to the left, so.
No. Let him go left.
We're a Democratic Party now. Which way do we go?
Go up.
Let's go up.
Well, up is the way you came.
No, the stairs to the right.
Oh, you mean the stairs? Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to have to navigate this pit. So you guys are all basically standing at the precipice of this 10-foot pit that essentially takes up the entire floor at this intersection. So
I'm not crazy, right? You put on actual music, right?
Yeah, he
it's
did.
the singing.
Making
It's
sure.
faint right now because you can't
No,
really.
I don't.
You
Oh.
have to get closer to see to hear it better.
I just put the volume up a little bit.
Or we don't get closer at all. We, in fact, go the opposite way.
Yeah, we go in the opposite direction. So, can we skirt the edges on this, or?
Yeah, you think you could probably jump across with an athletics check, or kind of shimmy with an acrobatics check.
I'm just gonna.
If
It's not like enough for like just an automatic like, oh, I'll just step across. It looks a bit treacherous.
I'll do the acrobatics version.
I'm dead.
Oh my.
So Lawaj kind of slips and stumbles a bit, and then like a foot kind of disappears into the hole for a sec, but he manages to kind of barely get himself across.
Lawaj, remember, you can walk on walls.
1 second.
That is
You can't
also
walk on
true.
walls.
Shut up.
You literally just walk.
Oh.
Shut up.
Okay, that's a good roll.
So 3 people seem to have kind of shimmied across the corner. Pyro does a little hop and kind of just barely hops
A
across.
little bit like, ooh. But then he
It
makes
gets the toes right on the lip, and it's kind of like ooh, and then
I'll
just
grab
walks
him
forward.
Can I convince my rope friend to, like, go to the other side so that other people can hold on to him? So I can not
Give
fall?
me an animal handling check.
Oh, now it's wisdom.
Oh
don't-
no. Oh no.
Oh no.
So
No.
the rope, the rope kind of like snakes forward and then kind of like starts like drooping down into the hole, and it seems to be kind of like poking around at like the edges of the hole.
We could
You
just
wanna
hold
shine
something
the-
out for you.
We want to shine the light in the hole and see what was in there.
Well,
So, just
I could
hit.
just drop, like, a random rock and cast light on it and drop it down.
Do it.
Just to see what's at the bottom.
sure, why not?
I mean, 100 feet down is deep, I get it, but
Give me perception checks. Anybody that wants
No.
to look down the hole.
We'll do so. Good.
There's my good perception.
Good.
My good wisdom roll.
So,
Ooh.
look at Pyro go.
yeah.
Why was Pyro rolling higher?
Because he's wisdom based. He's a
Okay.
cleric. Or not cleric, he's a... Yeah, why is he...
Why?
Yeah,
do you
why
have
did-
+4 to perception?
He's
How
got.
You must be
He's just proficient.
Yeah,
and
he's
he has
proficient
couple
in it.
points in it.
just
Yeah.
got a really good roll. That's all. Now you rolled a
So-
19. That's very good.
So, yeah. Pyro, Bones, Jazz, you guys have no problem noticing some small
The people without
shapes
dark vision.
at the bottom of the hole. They seem to be... They're about body-sized, so you imagine there's probably a couple of corpses of, like, old decayed corpses of adventurers who maybe did not quite make it across the hole. Or perhaps the people who found this hole originally.
Hey, Loash.
Yep.
Or Vidania. You wanna go down there and see if they have anything?
Yes. I'll walk down the wall and go rifle through dead bodies.
Okay. So, you get to
You're
the
there.
bottom of the pit.
Little thing to do.
Once you get down there, it's pretty easy to tell that the bodies are... they seem to be, like, extremely charred, and, like, parts of them are, like, missing. Like, almost like something, like, horribly burnt them to death. Pushing, like, bits of body and charred remains aside, you find a glowing orange gem. Like, there's just this big, kind of baseball-sized orange gem that seems to be, like, pulsing with orange light.
Have
Does
a
it
star
have
in
a
the
star
center of it.
inside?
No, it does not have a star in the center of it.
I thought we found this.
No, because
These
the
are-
other party found all of them already, and
These are the Namekian in Dragon Ball Z.
nobody used the wish, so they didn't spread out to be found again. If you guys had used the wish, then maybe they would be here in this campaign.
Maybe.
So,
I thought we
honestly-
were missing one of them for the wish.
No, you guys
no.
got the last one from killing Tiamat.
Yeah.
Alright.
We just
But
we
we
just
never had
didn't
the
have.
opportunity to use the wish.
So, I really don't trust this roll, but I'm going to shimmy across.
Wait, we could just hold something out. Okay.
I told you I didn't trust it.
Yep, no, you're fine.
No, you're fine.
I have a +7 on it, and I got 12.
Feels bad.
Nope. Yeah, you're a little uneasy, but you make it across fine.
But
issue
that
where
was
my-
You kind of kick the edge of the pit a little bit, and a few small rocks fall on Vidania's head.
it. Probably was the rope, like trying to go down to the pit or something.
The rope's like it's a glowy thing, shiny. You want to get it?
I'm gonna arcana check the shiny thing.
You're pretty sure it's definitely magical.
Cool.
What kind
Man,
of magic
yeah,
would?
identify.
Yeah, it's a good thing you guys have like detect magic and identify and all those spells still.
Yep.
I'll pick it up. I'll put it in my bag, and I'll walk back up.
No,
So-
ask him when
Find
he
anything?
gets up. Did you find anything?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I found this
anything?
glowy rock. Somebody else take it. I'm scared of it.
I'll take it.
Of course you will.
Scared of it.
It's
I can
like
give it to one of you if
orange
you'd like.
equals fire. Charm
So-
remains. So that rock is cursed.
Oh, they were
Guaranteed.
burnt down there.
Yeah.
There's probably other traps, so we should watch it for.
So I will say, with your high Arcana check, and I'll be a bit more lenient since you guys don't have detect magic or anything anymore, because your wizard left, at least for now. You feel like with that roll, you feel a powerful aura of conjuration magic coming off this thing. It's so strong that you have this vague feeling that the wish spell is somehow involved in its magic.
It's a fucking
Are
Dragon
you
Ball.
sure this isn't a Dragon Ball?
There's no stars on it. Just an orange gem.
Maybe it's a 0-star Dragon Ball.
Maybe it's the
Then-
Black Star Dragon
The
Ball.
Zero
GT.
Star Dragon Ball. Or it could just be a magical stone.
It's a Chaos
Uh,
Emerald.
Make a wish.
You know what? Yes, I am gonna hang on to it then, because I don't trust anybody else here with stuff like this.
Hey.
You're all a bit.
Hey.
Hey.
All I would do is wish for
Excuse
puppies or
me?
something.
I would just wish
You're all
for
a bit
books
what?
and
What is-
infinite goblins to torture. That's all I
Impulsive?
would wish for.
Put it. Yeah, put it this way. Dusty was our smartest person, and then we got the very naive monk, Pyro, Cassiopeia, and whatever the rogue's supposed to be. So I will take that for now.
What's that supposed to mean? Pyro. What's that supposed to mean, Monkey?
You
I
know
was
what
calling
it's
us
supposed to
stupid,
mean.
Pyro. I was just saying we're dumb.
You're the type that would wish for underpants. So,
I would wish for
I
my
wouldn't-
sword to talk to me. That's what I would wish for.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't make a wish at all.
oh,
What do I need?
we should probably keep going before whatever is singing stops singing and hears us.
Very good
Well,
point.
despite all the ruckus you guys are making, like the singing has not stopped or halted. It just seems to be continuing on.
I can sing better than that.
You know, maybe somebody left their Anya CD running over in the other chamber.
Do you want to go over there and have a sing on?
Could be like it could be one of those little kiosks for like where they're trying to sell
Any
you
other
like
time I would say yes.
relaxing music and you push the buttons and it like plays samples. It could be just one of those over there. It just never got turned off.
Someone trained a golem to just sit there and push the play button when it stops.
Somebody
Okay.
just taped the play button down.
I'm gonna go towards the stairs and start climbing them and get to the door. If there's no issues with
No, it was
going up there.
it was just a hallway, I believe, and then it like
I
turned
thought-
somewhere.
I thought this one went up to some stairs.
No, there was a door to the south essentially. Like you guys came from the north. The south was just a door, a nondescript, regular ass looking door that was 100% closed. The eastern leg was another pit with a door in front of it that was ajar, and that's where the singing was coming from. And then the western route, which you guys took, which was to the right, is hallway, stairs going up to like the next floor or whatever, and then like some more hallway at the top of the stairs.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Regardless,
Let's
I'll just
go up
the
those
stairs,
stairs.
and to the hallway.
What do we see in the hallway?
So you guys make your way up the stairs, and you turn yourself sort of like the hallway bends to the left, and then passes through what seems to be another secret door that's been left kind of ajar, and that leads you into about a 30-foot by 30-foot chamber The room appears to have once been filled with funerary offerings and furniture. There are just the tattered remains of 4 like rotten old sofas, some throne-like chairs, various tables, stands, most of which have just been kind of like rotten and are just falling apart at this point. You guys seem to pass through like a hole. Like as you kind of make your way into the room, you pass through a hole in a giant tapestry. And then there seems to be the rotten remains of a tapestry on the far wall as well. And then there's also a door leading out of the room.
What is the rug situation like?
There are no rugs. There's just...
This room is shit.
There's two big tapestries, and it seems like somebody came along and cut a giant hole in the tapestry that you're walking through to discover, like, basically to find the secret door. You seem to be tracing back through someone's journey into this tomb or crypt or wherever you guys are. I guess
Judging
tomb.
Seems like we're going the right way.
Judging by the fact that we didn't come across any... Oh yeah, we did find a secret door that we came out of that room from, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, when you guys headed to like the hallway before the pit, that was a secret door. Because it was essentially like kind of a chunk of the wall that had been like left open. So it was very obviously a secret door that you had walked through. This too also seems to be a secret door that was just left open and...
Well, this probably a normal door.
Yes, there's a normal door leading out of this room.
Yes, Pyro?
So behind the other tapestry, is there anything?
So yeah, you can kind of see most of the wall at this point behind it, and if there is something, there doesn't seem to be like an open door or anything. There just seems to be wall. Give me a perception check.
Okay, well,
There's
that's
your
check.
rolls.
Yeah, so it just seems to be a stone wall.
And can we see what the tapestry once represented?
So the far one, like the one that you just checked, no, that one's sort of too rotten. The one that was cut that you guys kind of walked through, it seems to have once been a tapestry that depicted like rocks and scenes of like undersea life and stuff like that. Like you see kind of what looks like a fish or like part of a fish and like big rocks with like green algae on them.
Okay.
Much of the tapestry at this point is green.
Weird choice in art. A Sarah Rack or Michael Sarah, whatever we're calling you.
That is his real
Michael
name.
Sarah.
Michael Sararak.
Michael Sararak.
And can I also look between the sofa cushions for
Gold.
things? I don't know, is there anything?
Looking for
there's
some
a good
change?
one.
So, yeah, you root around and, like, digging through everything, you find one gold piece that seems to have found itself wedged underneath, like, a couple of pieces of just discarded garbage furniture.
He saved his penny earned, right?
Yeah.
That's actually like $1, but yeah.
Alright, are we done
Sorry,
with this
that
room?
was me being literal. Even though my character's literal.
As you guys walked this way, the singing went away. Sad
this
face.
way. So we should probably peek out the normal door.
So,
I'll do it.
the normal door leads you to another hallway. Ooh. So,
Are there any, does it, section off?
yeah, so you guys step out, or you guys kind of, peer out of the door, and it seems to lead to a long hallway that stretches to the left and right. To the left, it just seems to continue on for a bit, and there's just a dead end. To the right, it seems to go down and then turn a corner, but before that corner is a large 20-foot-long pit in the floor.
Oh, probably not getting through that.
Nope.
What's that? Can we see it at the bottom of the pit?
Do you want to go up to the pit and take a look at it?
We don't fall in the pit.
Yeah, or else Watts will come and sing about falling into the pit.
I fell into the pit.
I'll
check out that
cast
dead end
light
first?
on some debris in that room and give it to Pyro if he wants to drop it into the pit.
So, as you guys kind of approach it, you notice a 10-foot deep empty pit completely fills the passageway, extending so far as to make jumping across it impossible for most creatures.
Most creatures
If it's
doesn't
10 foot deep, we
include
can
watch.
see the bottom of it, right?
I think
Yep.
I meant 10 foot.
Yeah, it's 10 foot deep, and like it's 10 feet deep, and just like a flat bottomed pit.
Is there anything in it?
There does not seem to be.
I
I'm
want to
gonna-
check out the dead end and see if that's a secret door.
Yeah, let's do that first, and then I want to throw the debris that Jez handed me into the pit.
Well, I mean, we're already here. If you want to do it, we can do it now.
I will just toss it into the pit, see what happens to it.
Anywhere in particular? The pit is 10 feet wide, so it goes like wall to wall in the hallway, and it's about 20 feet long.
I'll throw it like 7 feet in front of me.
Okay. So you throw your piece of debris, or debris, depending on which way you go. You throw your debris into the pit, and it just kind of hits it with a thud, and like a big cloud of dust kind of just wafts into the air. And then
No
that kind of
cubes in
just
there.
that dissipates after a couple of minutes.
That spot looks fine, I guess.
There's no cubes in there, at least. All that dust.
Maybe it's a dust cube.
Dusty turned into a cube.
Oh no.
It doesn't clean. It just...
It makes things dirtier.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea.
I'll be right back.
Alright,
It's
let's
a-
check out the other direction
Yeah.
then.
It's a companion cube. It's a companion to
So-
other cubes.
Yeah, you guys go down the hallway a little ways. It's man-made, or what looks like man-made constructed stone all the way to the end, and it seems to just lead into a dead end.
Guess I'll feel around, see if, or like push on the wall, see if there's a door.
Okay, give me perception check.
Okay. Okay.
Well then.
You're like 100% sure, like, yeah, this is like stone wall. Yep. This is as stone wall as I've ever seen.
I'm
Yep.
gonna be like,
It's
I don't
definitely
believe
a dead
that,
end.
so I'm gonna check as well. I was like, that's impossible.
Fine.
As far as you can tell, it just seems to be stone wall. You guys push and pull on all sorts of various things. You start like poking bricks, like individual bricks, and looking for levers, and just
That's what you get for
seems to be a dead end.
That's what you get for doubting him.
That's what I get for doubting crit fails.
Yeah, but you don't know that he crit failed. That's the problem. I don't know if you want to bother this way. Goes to a dead end. And our
I'm
friends...
gonna look up. Is there anything above us?
No. The cavern, or the hallway, is about 10 feet up. And so about 10 feet above your heads is a stone ceiling. Looks much like the wall.
And stomp on the floor. His floor.
The ceiling.
Okay, so the only way we could go is right? Was there a third?
Nope.
There's a third way?
There's
Okay.
basically dead end and then pit.
Lovely.
By the way, it's just the three of us right now. Bones
Yep,
and
it
Louage
sure
are,
is.
are AFK.
So you just kick Bones or Louage into the
listening, I'm
pit.
just
Oh,
AFK
okay.
from
There you
the
are.
keyboard up here. I'll be back though.
So, let's waffle back to the other side. Back to the shallow pit.
Yep. So you
It's only
guys
10 feet.
move back to the pit. The pit is 20 feet long, 10 feet deep.
Mhm.
Seems to
Is
just be a
that-
stone flat-bottomed pit.
Is
You
the
can-
piece of debris still there?
Yep, it is still there. And there's kind of a disturbance of dust kind of around the around the debris.
What
Kind of
about on the sides of the pit? Is there anything that we can see?
Seems to be just constructed out of the same stone as the walls.
Hmm. It seems too simple.
Does. Yeah, I guess if you really want to start firing Eldritch Blast down to the pit.
And I can't tell from this distance what type of dust that is.
It appears to just be your garden variety dust. Like, you guys have probably been breathing a bit of it in ever since Pyro hucked that piece of debris into the pit.
I was just making sure it wasn't ashes.
Evil
That'd be
dust.
Evil dust.
I could get one of my friends to walk around that pit.
You could have your familiar go through it. Can your familiar die? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
my familiar can
Then.
die, but I also have my unseen servant.
That is true. So there you go.
Can I cast it down in the pit? I don't know.
Hmm?
I'm checking to see if it shows up next to me or
Yeah.
oh, it's within range.
1 second, Play's
so-
freaking out.
I will cast.
We're not even doing anything. How can it freak out?
I don't know, it's
It's
being
a
weird.
static picture of a face.
I'll
God
cast
damn
my
it, roll
unseen
20.
servant. I'll cast my unseen servant on the like where the debris is, and I'll get him to pick it up.
Okay. He picks up the debris.
And then I'll get him to like walk back and forth from one side to the other.
Well, the servant, because he an invisible, mindless, shapeless force. So
Yeah.
he would probably not weigh very much, if anything.
I don't think he floats though, does he?
I'd almost assume that he floats. It's hard to tell. Nobody can see him. Well, it does. Well, it also says that he's shapeless. So if he's shapeless, then he wouldn't
Alright.
physically impact the ground.
I'm going to hand off Dusty's bag with the resurrection skills in them to somebody else, and I'll go down to the pit.
Okay, you climbing down the front, you jumping out into the middle of it.
I
Just down
will
the
hold
front.
on to the bag then.
Okay, so Wacky kind of scrambles down the wall in front, and as she does,
Oh, good.
the floor directly in front of the ledge you guys are standing on kind of gives way, and she begins to fall into a pit of spikes.
Shit.
So, gotta look up what the default spike pit thing is. So you're gonna
The
take,
skills of someone else.
yeah. So you're gonna drop about 10 feet into a spike pit, taking. Oh, that's the only D10 I had out. So you're gonna take 11 points of piercing damage from the spikes, and you're going to give me a Constitution saving throw.
11 Constitution. I'm great at this, guys. Don't worry.
So the spikes, once upon a time, seem to have been poisoned. A lot of that is worn away, but there's still trace amounts on there. So you're going to take 12 points of poison damage.
Trace amounts of poison does 12?
Yes, it was a very powerful poison once upon a time. So you're now down a 10-foot pit, in the 10-foot pit, embedded in, about, I think it's 5 big spikes, essentially. So you're kind of crumpled, in between them, but, a couple of them kind of gashed you open on the way down. So, to what you guys, you guys at the top now see that there is a 5-foot long, 10-foot wide, essentially the 5-foot section of floor directly below the ledge you're standing on in the pit has given way and seems to be a spike pit trap.
Someone needed to do it. Send a rope down.
Well, you could scramble back up. It's 10 feet deep, so you could kind of climb yourself out into the next section of the pit.
I was gonna ask her if the next section looks solid from the pit side.
As far as she knows, like you guys can even see that it's like it's all walled in, the section she's in.
Yeah. Okay.
So you also notice, like, you guys can also hear kind of a ticking sound, and you can see that the trap door of the pit is slowly starting to kind of like close itself back up again.
Okay, out of the pit I go.
Okay, just give me an athletics check as you scramble
Boy.
up like the 10-foot wall.
Boy.
I'm gonna send down a rope.
So Wacky is kind of like climbing, like just scrambling at the wall of the pit, trying to climb out of it to no avail. Give me another athletics check with advantage, aided by Pyro's rope. So you with Pyro's rope, you managed to get yourself into, like, up the 10-foot ledge. You are now in the pit, basically standing exactly where the piece of debris was that Pyro threw. And it seems to be holding your weight. So you know that. The spot that you're standing in currently seems to be safe.
I'm gonna go back to the room and find a pole, something like, or we can use
Is it a 10-foot pole?
if there is a 10-foot
Yeah,
pole.
you don't think that anything in there, like,
What about
all the
what
stuff that's
tapestry
left is...
being held up by?
What was the what?
The tapestry, what's it being held up by?
Bits of frayed rope. Okay, essentially they were... It's like basically it's a big curtain, like, tied to the parts of the ceiling. So there's essentially like a few hooks that it's kind of like hooked into.
There's
Like,
nothing
it's not a tapestry that like moves like a curtain. It's more of like a banner.
Uh,
Like it's not something that's supposed to be kind of like drawn back and forth on a pole like a curtain would be.
what about Bones' staff? Like his bow staff.
Bones does have a 5-foot staff.
Yeah, use it. Go for it.
Use that.
Gonna have to throw it to me.
So at this point,
Consider
the spike pit has closed itself back up entirely and kind of clicked back into place, waiting for its next victim.
So that was a 5 by.
So essentially, it was the first 5 feet of the inside of that pit.
Gotcha.
You know, Wacky's kind of you're pretty sure that the next 5 feet is safe, for sure, because Wacky kind of like scrambled onto it to get like out of that pit in time. So you're pretty sure that the next 5-foot section of that pit is perfectly fine, because she seems to be standing on it and nothing's happening.
Can I try to climb out the other side then?
If you would like to. If you would like to cross to the other side of the pit, that is entirely up to you.
The safe side. I wanna, get up on the, back to the level with everyone else, but on the other side of the pit.
Okay, so you casually stride across the rest of the rest of the pit, and expect to go plummeting to your death at like the other end, and it does not seem to happen. And you just kind of climb up, and you're now up on the ledge, on the other side of the pit.
Then I'm gonna sit down.
Okay.
This is a bit of a predicament, guys.
The
Well,
rest of the 15 feet are fine.
seems to be.
So
It seems to be more of a trap for people coming in than people going out. You would imagine.
Okay.
You kind of piece together that the original intent of this was probably to get people to climb down into the pit, walk across, and then when they try to climb up the other side, they fall into the spike pit. And you guys just fell for it in reverse.
Go ahead, Jess.
I was gonna say, is there a way to avoid falling damage with acrobatics roll? But I think
Well, yeah,
And then
you.
just, like,
Oh,
jump across it.
yeah, you guys are gonna have to kind of.
like we gotta jump 10 feet to
Jump 5 feet.
the safety part, or 5 feet to the safety part, but we still are falling 10 feet. We just can't lower ourselves down.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you can't. Gingerly lowering yourself down will cause you to go onto the pit.
Unless you lower
I
yourself down
jump the
backwards.
5 feet onto the other place. Do I need to roll for that? Just to jump the 5 feet.
Bones. It's a 10-foot pit. The first
I know.
5 feet are like
Yeah, so jumping the 5 feet is not going to be like you're gonna be kind of stuck with the falling damage, like
He'll
Jez said.
fall himself. He'll be
Yeah,
fine.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Bones
Jump
won't
the
be,
5 feet.
but yeah.
Lucky you.
You guys don't I'm not gonna really make you roll it just because it's a 5-foot jump, plus you have height advantage, like because you're jumping from 10 feet up. So making the distance, especially with a running start, is pretty easy.
Negligible.
Yeah.
Well, it's only you and me, Jez. Like, Lawaj can walk down,
Lodge can just walk along the walls.
Yep.
so it's just you and me, really.
Yeah.
Jump over to Wacky and go over her place.
I'm gonna cast healing on myself while they're doing this.
I'm just gonna walk down.
Oh, good.
Bummer.
3-1.
Heals
So-
Batman.
I guess I'll
Nice.
do.
So are you walking down over the pit?
I'm just walking down to where Bones and Wacky are.
As we
Well,
just
they're on
kind of
the
I
other
stare
don't
at
think
him
you
as he
understand
like.
what pit is right now.
I don't.
I'm,
I live here.
I'm
so
on the other side of the pit right now. from where
I'm
you
still,
guys are.
I'm still going to go over to them.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
You'll have to
just
crawl
walk
across the
it.
side of the pit walls, then most likely.
Crawl.
I'm fine with that.
He doesn't have to crawl.
I can walk on walls.
No, climb like Spider-Man.
Okay, fine. I'll crawl. I'll
But
slide
that's the
down.
entire point
All
of
I know
this.
is like the rest of us are just kind of like looking at Lawaj like, what the fuck? When
His
is he
eye
able to
winks at
do
us.
this?
Oh yeah, I guess he's never done that in front of
Yeah,
us.
none of
has
us
he?
really like knew about this. We're just like,
Yeah.
At least one of you.
That?
Before.
Yeah, no, I think he
Walks
used it
up
a
the
couple
back of the
times in the
statue.
Amber Temple.
Oh,
I did.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yes, he did.
I'm pretty sure we've seen him at the top of the Amber Temple looking into the thing.
I don't know,
Um,
spider climbed it, whatever.
There's
and he
really
also
no
said,
way for
as
us to
soon
do
as he
this
got
easily
it,
as there.
Hey guys, look, I can walk on walls.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like as soon as he figured out he could walk on walls, he just started doing it immediately to show it
Oh,
off.
whatever.
Yeah.
Still just like, ooh, it's
I
unnatural.
think we just gotta jump it, Jez.
Yeah, I'll
Deal
take
with
the
the
fall
damage.
damage. Jump
Oh.
and take the fall damage. I'll try to do a graceful roll anyways.
Okay, so you guys are gonna each take 3 points of fallen damage.
But more. It was really good looking though.
Wow, it really was.
Very graceful.
You know what, Jez?
I give it a 10.
I'll give you half damage for your amazing acrobatics show. You were able to tuck and roll so well that you only take 1 point of falling damage.
I mean, I may as well roll it too. I see Jez jump like all like smoothly. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it too.
As you just
Yeah.
fall to the bottom of the thing.
His
Yeah,
arm
Pyro
was like-
Pyro kind of just like lands shoulder first, and then just kind of like rolls through that onto his back, and then kind of slowly stands up.
No, you used
It's
the
like a
momentum.
fat roll in Dark Souls. Like, it's basically what that looks like, where it's more just like throw yourself to the ground and then kind of roll back up to your feet.
So I'm gonna need help climbing back out.
What is that?
It's time to wake
Timer.
up. Time to wake up and play D&D. That's what that alarm is.
It's a little late.
Time
Uh,
to die.
So when I get to the other side, I'm gonna ask Pyro for some help because I am not
Oh.
tall enough.
Yeah,
I will give you a boost. Oh,
yeah,
wait.
give me an athletics check. Give me an athletics check with advantage since you're aided by Pyro.
Yeah, I needed that.
There you go.
Yeah. Pyro gives you a boost, you get out. Pyro just
What
kind of
would we
like
do
clambers
without
himself
Pyro?
back out. You guys are all on the other side of the pit.
I don't need to make
Wow.
a roll.
Yeah, Pyro like almost standing jumps out of the pit. He basically just jumps up and just like pushes himself out like he's getting out of the pool.
Hey, look, he's really good at jumping up. I'm really good at falling.
Sick crits, guys.
Yeah.
Getting them out of the way now.
Yeah. Hey.
So you guys continue down the hall, around the corner. Another set of stairs takes you further up, and it leads you into some kind of study / laboratory. It's a...
You know who would have liked this room? Dusty would have liked this room.
Don't remind me.
Dusty would have not liked this room. He would have found something to hate about it.
Don't
So-
remind me. We've already lost another one
These
of our
books
party
are all
members.
out of date.
I'm
Well,
also
we
gonna
don't
give
know he's
Wacky
dead. We just
Dado's
know
bag
he's
back.
not here.
Oh. Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
you guys enter into... you imagine this used to be some kind of laboratory. There are 3 what look like giant vats in the middle of the room. They look like they were old big cast iron like cauldrons, but they're all super cracked and rusted over. One of them's basically just shattered in half and like lying in pieces on the floor. The other ones look like they couldn't hold anything at this point. You also kind of look around, you see various tables and just bits of broken glass and frayed parchment and stuff like that. So it looked like this used to be, some kind of alchemical laboratory. You also notice a desk sort of at the north end of the room, to the right of which is a door, the only door leading from this room.
Is there anything on the desk?
Give me a perception check to go snooping through the desk. So underneath, you kind of like start rooting through it, and you find a leather-bound journal. The pages all seem fairly yellowed, and it has a similar-looking gaping maud horned devil face embossing the cover of it, similar to the statue, or not statues, but the stone faces that you saw in the room that you arrived in.
I'm gonna flip through it. Is there anything written inside?
There is quite a few things written inside.
Can he read it?
So quite a bit of it. For the most of the book, the writing inside seems to have just faded. Like it may have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years, and is just eventually the ink just faded too much to be legible. But further back, you find a few entries that you can read that seem somewhat more recent than the last. The fuck is the thing I'm looking for? Okay. So, the entries say, so the first entry says, the simple joy of committing one's thoughts to paper. It's been centuries since I've had a corporeal form and could manage the task. Seems that there's little else this body shall be useful for. I'll need to acquire another, one that's a better conduit for my powers. In any case, this will allow me to continue my work. The next entry says, deification, to become a god. I am by no means the first to attempt such a thing. Most do it for the power or for the devoted followers. Neither interest me. I already possess considerable power, and see little use for those who worship me. I have built various tombs and dungeons over the centuries, so imagine what I could do with the ability to reshape entire worlds or the planes themselves as I see fit. Obtaining a god's power is the difficult part. Most deities of any considerable strength will not part with their powers easily, and killing one, well, perhaps the key is to create one? Third entry says, only I, Acererak the Eternal, could devise a plan such as this, one so complex in its conception. The time it will take to reach its conclusion will be immense, but immortality brings with it a patience that mortals will never know. My only worry is the soulmonger. Of all my creations, it's the only one I've yet to test, and its construction will be long and arduous. I will need to find a place where my work will go undisturbed. And the final entry says, my preparations are complete. The deep jungles of Cholt will be the perfect place to construct the Soulmonger. All I need is some capital. Much like a fledgling business needs startup money, I will need an influx of soul energy to begin my work. Luckily, I know just the place to visit.
I read all
Wonder what
of
he's
that
talking
out
about.
loud so everyone can hear that.
Not gonna lie, when you said you needed capital, I thought, wait, that actually makes sense. Have a whole bunch of adventurers come in with their gold, die on traps, take their gold.
Well, he needs soul capital. It's like completely different than money capital, but exactly the same. It's basically like the monetary system from Dark Souls.
It's demon money.
I will keep the journal. I'll put it in like my bag or whatever.
Yep.
Keep that thing?
When he's
Alright.
reading through the book, can I look around for anything that is intact in this room?
Sure, give me a perception check.
No, no. For me.
So you find, like, scavenging through, you don't really find much in here. Everything seems to just be old and rotting and destroyed. You do find one parchment that has just some strange sketches that you can't really make heads or tails of. One of them kind of looks like, almost like a giant vat. It looks like a big jar.
Does it
You're
look
like-
like these vats? Or
No, these look like essentially cauldrons. Like, they basically are cauldrons. Yeah,
Okay.
this thing seems to be a cylindrical shaped, something or other, container of some kind. But there doesn't
It's
seem
just-
to be any labels or any notes on it of what it is or like what you're looking at. But that seems to be sort of the only thing in the room you can find that's still in any good shape, like the journal. That and the
Does it
journal
look
seem
like-
to. That and the chair. The chair and the desk are in decent enough shape.
does it look like the vats from the Shadowfell?
No. Those things seem to be. Well, you can't really tell what this is made out of because it's just a drawing.
Yeah.
But those were like big square chambers, essentially.
Okay, I thought
like
they were round.
those.
My mind.
No, the vats in the Shadowfell were more, and Pyro can give you a very apt description of what the inside of one of them looks like. But they are almost more
I
like
will proceed to.
they were almost more like vaults that had like some glass windows so you could see inside.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't bring up. Oh, I wonder if this looks like the Shadowfell vat.
It's like,
in my
Pyro,
mind.
does it look like the thing you were trapped in, like when you were young?
Considering I seen it, I didn't really have to.
Yeah, you guys.
Didn't really have to ask.
But yeah, those seem to be more like constructed more
Okay.
like vaults.
Yeah. Okay.
This seems to be like maybe a jar or a vat, or the sense of scale on it. You have no idea either because there's
Oh.
nothing to convey any set of scale. It could be like a small jar for holding something. It could be a gigantic, massive vat for all you know.
I'll keep it in my notebook just in case
Yep.
it's useful.
Is there anything else of significance in this room?
There does not appear to be. Just a single door.
And these cauldrons are completely empty.
Yes. Like, there doesn't even seem to be a trace of whatever may or may not
Oof.
have been in them.
Okay.
The one on the right is completely busted open. Give me an investigation check. Anybody whoever wants to look at the cauldron.
Since I'm around.
Or,
I think that while everyone's been sort of looking around, I've just been like casting mend on my cloak in case it ripped.
so, I'll say Pyro, you think that whatever damage this cauldron happened from inside of it. So either like exploded or something burst out from inside it, but it appears that is where the damage came from. As far as you were able to tell.
So, you guys done looking at old pots? Can we try to find a way out of here?
I mean, there's the door.
Oh, that's the door that's by the desk.
Or rather continue to try to find a way out of here?
Yeah. Oh, you mean out of this place? It was a
Yeah,
royal.
in
here.
general.
So, yeah, you guys swing open the door in the room, and it leads to more hallways.
Who would've thought?
More dusty, 10-foot wide stone hallways. You sort of follow, and they twist and turn, and you end up going, up some stairs, through another secret passage, down another hall, up another secret passage, and eventually you find yourself at the top of a flight of stairs at a short hallway that leads into some kind of large cathedral, or at least cathedral-looking room. You come out to the right of the pew, like you guys basically come out as if the pews are facing down, you guys are coming out on I guess actually the pews are all seem to be facing south. Then the altar's at the southern end, and you guys are coming out like the southeast corner of the room. You also see like looking into this cathedral. Why am I not just looking up the description of the cathedral? Oh, because I don't know what the number is. Oh, there's the chapel. So you see what is obviously some form of temple area. It appears like there once was scenes of normal life painted on the walls. A lot of the paint has chipped and faded away, but it looks like the people, it was they're just scenes of just normal people going about their normal lives, but the people have rotting flesh, skeletal hands, and worms eating them, and so forth. You also notice, sitting in a few of the pews seem to be some kind of rotting figures. They look humanoid, like some sort of rotten corpses, all with huge distended mouths, much like the demon faces that you've seen throughout this tomb so far. There seems to be 4 of them. They are sitting in just various pews among the 8 pews, and they're all just kind of facing forward towards the altar.
Thing.
Do I need to make a religion check to see if this is a Sararak's worshipping area, or can we just tell?
Well, you could tell this is some kind of religious chapel of some kind. A Sararak not being a god, people wouldn't... he probably has worshippers and followers, sort of like a lead cultist or something like that might have, but these things, they appear to be some kind of, undead, or, They appear to be some kind of corpses of some kind. Perhaps ghouls or zombies or something of the like.
Are they moving?
Give me a perception check.
I can do that. Button here.
Right now you guys are kind of just peering in from the hallway. Yeah, you kind of stare at them for a minute, and you see very slight but definitive signs of movement.
Kind of whisper to everybody, alive. Not alive, but alive.
When I see these dead people, I immediately start looking for another exit out of here.
Yeah, is there another door?
So what you see, kind of looking around the room, is a kind of a trail, almost like a little yellow brick road going down directly from the altar down between all 8 of the pews, and then it kind of curves and goes to the northeast corner. So basically almost a straight shot up the right-hand wall from where you guys are peering in. There is a small fence between the altar area and the pews. There's a waist high, or probably there's about a 3.5 foot tall fence made out of rotting wood, and then there's an opening in the fence directly down the center lane. Typical chapel construction. But yeah, there seems to be another one of those 3-foot high tunnels going out the north end of the room behind all the pews. You also see directly across from you, on the opposite side of the room, some kind of archway with a bunch of runes carved into it. It's kind of tough to tell what the runes really are, because a lot of it's faded and chipped away. But that seems to lead into... that's a doorway, that archway, but it seems to just lead into, like, a 5-foot closet.
And that's how far away from us?
That's about 60 feet away from you, on the other side of the room. The chapel seems to probably be about, like, 60 feet by 60 feet. It's a big 60-foot square.
I guess I'm going to grip my sword, since there are undeads around, just in case they spring to life. Because we gotta go through that center lane, it seems.
Yep, that little tunnel's probably our way out of here, so...
There's
Or at
also
least
the
where we need
thing
to
with the
continue going.
runes. Should we at least look at that?
Well, that's at the end of where...
Yeah, so you guys are on, like, essentially the eastern, like, the southeastern wall. That's the thing with the runes is on the southwestern wall. So you would have to walk from one end of the chapel, like, directly across the altar to the other side.
Do we know what god this chapel is for? Or is it no markings of what god it is?
Whoever wants can give me a religion check.
I had my mouse waiting over it.
So, you guys notice, you guys can kind of see that some of the... Yeah, so you can see depicted in the frescoes along the walls are various religious symbols of good alignment. Stuff like Bahamut and other deities of various kinds of good that I'm just blanking on right now. You see...
Sure.
So, yeah, you guys see various good-aligned deities represented throughout the fresco, held by the, like, burnt and rotting corpses that seem to be, you know, just hanging out, doing their thing.
Mm-hmm. We should.
Well, I suppose we're going in there anyway, so...
Yeah.
The first thing I see move, there's anything, I'm shooting an arrow at it.
Well, we know that the ghoul, zombie, whatever the things they are slightly moving. They're not dead.
Anything that seems aggressive, first thing I see, shooting
They're
it.
trying to pretend to be asleep, but they have had too much caffeine.
Which one are you, which one are you gonna try to shoot? I'll aim for the same one.
They're in the pews, right?
Yep. It seems to be
8
two on the left,
pews,
two in the left, two in the back. Like they're like spaced out. Like
First one on the left.
okay, so
I'll go for the same one. Whatever it comes.
I will take the lead with my sword. I'll have it... I don't even have it set up for two-handed if I wanted to. Yeah, I do.
Don't you have a shield though?
I do, but I put it on my back.
Okay.
Could. Fuck it, I'll just do one-handed sword and shield, and I will start making my way into the room.
Okay.
Make our way downtown.
So Jez gets about 10 feet into the room, and all four of the sort of undead, the rotten, strange corpses, all slowly turn their giant, distended, mouthed heads and stare at him.
But they're not
Cool.
getting up. They're just staring.
So,
Are you guys alright? I'm gonna say out into the crowd just to see if any of them respond. They don't seem to be attacking.
Yes, thank you for asking.
So all of a sudden, an ear-piercing screech erupts from all four of them as they all just begin to just cry out, almost like a banshee wail. Give me a all of you actually give me a Constitution saving throw.
Great at those. Love it.
Ooh.
Alright, let me see if I can get. I think I don't have I keep figures. Boop. Okay.
We're missing nobody. So Lawaj and Wacky, you find yourselves. God damn it! I don't have a fucking DM screen on.
Paralyzed. Killing people with ready.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to go pick up my new DM screen on the weekend. Fuck. Damn it! I was supposed to go get the new one from the store. They ran out of them when I was in there before buying my other book. So you guys take Wacky and Lawaj. You guys are going to take 6 points of damage. The rest of you are going to take 3 points of damage. Wacky and Lawaj, though, you guys find yourselves. Where's slow? I'm going to call it slowed.
Load.
Essentially, you find yourselves kind of like dazed. I'm going to essentially call it the same effect as slow. So it's
They're
going...
re-deads.
Almost, actually. Didn't even think of that. I believe it halves your movement. You can only take one action per turn.
Yeah.
Your target speed is halved. Takes a -2 penalty to AC and dexterity saving throws. Can't use reactions. On your turn, you can either take an action or a bonus action, not both.
And only one attack if you have multiple.
Yeah, and only one attack if you have multiple. End of your turns, you can make repeated saving throws to shake it off. But now, it is time to roll initiative.
Oh boy.
I have to figure it. Oh, here's how I add one.
Oh, I gotta click the thing. That's right.
God, Jesus.
Doing so well. Yeah, it's the only one rolling decent.
except for that one time.
That everybody? That's everybody.
It's only
Wow,
time.
you guys are fucking bad. Rolling initiative.
That is my norm, so this is the rest of you.
You know what?
I mean-
that's a very good point. So, Jez.
I was fine. I will.
None of them have even gotten up yet. Like, they're all still seated in their pews. Perhaps they are starting to make the motions of getting up, but they basically all looked at you and screamed.
So I
We're
will.
not the ugly ones, you are.
I'll start making my way.
Wow.
In...
Wow, Pyro.
Do they?
Wow.
How far down is that first
Can I
one on the
intimidate
left?
check that on my turn?
You mean first one on the right? Or well, the closest one to you is basically the one on the right, like front right. Because you guys are on the right side of the room coming in, so front right is essentially the closest one to you. And that's like 15, 20 feet away, if that.
Then I'll make my way towards it and try to silence it.
Okay.
In case it keeps doing that screamy thing. Oh, yeah.
I'm expecting an
forgot to
attack
ask.
roll.
I forgot it asks for me to confirm it.
13's a hit. You do 14.
Oh, wait.
Hmm?
It's undead.
It is undead.
16 damage.
16 radiant damage. So you thrust your sun sword into it, and it does not seem to like that very much. It doesn't seem to like that very much at all.
It doesn't
You
like
know what?
it.
I'm actually gonna have. I don't have tokens anymore, so now I actually have to write down.
You found the flaw in your plan.
Haha! the one flaw. Manually keeping track of monster health again, like the good old
You know
days.
what won't happen anymore?
I mean, you
though?
can just
won't
copy the
accidentally
tokens onto the
delete
blank
your
page.
token.
I could, but there's the fun in that. I can
Is
like
the,
it's like playing live again.
So if he doesn't like it, he's still alive, right?
He is definitely still alive.
Or his
Looks-
version of it.
Yeah. You're not sure. It looks like you did quite a bit to him. That's definitely a hit.
And that's another 20.
Yeah, so you managed to cleave it in half, and, a big chunk of it just kind of burns away from your lightsaber-ish sword. It does not seem to be returning to its feet.
I didn't know it could return to its feet. Now we know.
Nice.
Bones.
I suppose some zombies do, so.
Okay. How far away are they again, roughly?
You got one. The other one at the front of the room is probably about, like, it's probably about 40 feet from you.
That's plenty. That's fine. I want to go bonk that one, the nearest one. So first we'll bonk it.
That is definitely a hit.
We'll bonk it again.
That is a miss.
And last kick to the face.
That is absolutely a miss.
It's undead nards.
The 13 is a hit. So you knock it around a couple of times, and you seem to disorient it, but it is still alive.
Alright, Jez is close to this one too, right?
No, he's close to the one that he destroyed.
I'm on the other side of the room.
The
too.
other side of the room. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
Jez is about like 20 feet from him.
Alright, I'll just back up, a couple feet, 10 feet or so, just whatever's left of my movement.
So, the ghoul kind of staggers back to its feet and just kind of throws itself over the little waist-high fence, scrambling to get at bones. It's going to make it's going to make just one attempt to claw you for 16 versus AC.
I think that is my AC. Double check, but I'm pretty sure that is my AC. Assume that it is for now.
Yep. You're going to take 5 slashing, and you must make a Constitution saving throw, unless you're an elf or an undead.
That is my AC.
That's weirdly specific.
It's weirdly specific.
It's always been.
Yeah, you're
for
fine.
some reason.
Alright, so you said 5 was the initial damage?
Yes, 5 damage. The other 2 are going to stagger to their feet. One of them is going to push forward and kind of stumble over the pews. The other one's going to start making its way down the center lane. It gets to basically both of them get to Jez and kind of surround him, but they are out of movement. So now it is Lawage's turn.
Fucking the one hit bones, right?
Yep. So you see 2 of them surrounding Jez, kind of getting all up in his grill, and then the other one seems to be all over Bones.
I'm gonna shoot one of the ones that's attacking Jez.
Okay.
The closest one, I guess. I can.
The one that's more in the hallway or in the lane.
That's a hit. That's a sneaky sneak. So yeah, you fire an arrow through like a good chunk of its face, and your arrow basically like rips a big part of the distended mouth open. So now it's kind of hanging open even further than it used to be, but it is still alive.
Rip.
You gotta save your throw at the end of the turn?
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm slow. Constitution?
Yep, Constitution saving throw. Still slowed.
I'm amazing at these.
Wacky. It's your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna help Bones fire off an Eldritch Blast.
Yep, that's definitely a hit. It is still up, though. It staggers from that hit.
Remember,
It's
you
just...
get 2 of those.
But can't I only like take 1 attack?
It's one spell that you're casting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's like a double
It's
shot.
only if you have multi-attack that it matters for you.
Alright.
That is a hit, and you blow the head off the one attacking Bones. It is dead. Also, why am I tracking all my notes on my graph paper?
Can I keep that con save?
Yeah. Yeah, you made your con saving throw, you're no longer slowed. That's fine. Pyro.
Can I make it up to the ones attacking Jez?
Yep.
Alright, I will go to the one that Lawage hit.
Okay, yeah, that one looks That one looks pretty hurt. Yeah, you hit it with no problem. Doesn't really seem.
And I'm gonna divine smite it because it's undead.
Well,
It was already low.
Yeah.
yeah. It's.
So, like-
I'll save you the. Like, first of all, you remember you get an extra D8 anytime you attack undead
right.
with that sword, and that is enough to kill it. So, as you start queuing up your divine smite, you realize that it's already dead.
Again.
You start
Unless
like
it's
charging it
really
up
cold.
and charging it up, and it's like, oh wait, it's dead already. Oh, never mind. So-
You're like, Kaioken? Oh, it's dead.
Can
Yeah.
I reach the other one attacking Des?
Yep. Yeah, it's basically right beside you.
Alright, I'll hit that one too.
Yep. That is a hit.
Then
I feel like this is the best I've seen you roll in a while.
Oh yeah.
this is the first time I'm rolling in a while.
Oh my god.
And it's not a
So-
one.
Yeah, you do 17 damage to the last one that is up, that is attacking.
Is it still
That
standing?
is still standing.
I'm
This
gonna
is-
use that prepared divine smite on it.
okay.
A little,
Sure.
little excessive.
It's the same thing.
Considering I
And
You also
I-
get
I-
one more. Yeah, one more
One more
D8
D8.
because of the undead.
think it's dead.
I sure hope so.
Yeah. But at this point, 17. Yeah. So the divine smite eradicates it, and you just vaporize it, and it is gone. And there seems to be no more. There seems to be no more strange. I want to call them grinning, but they're not really grinning. They're just like, oh, they're O-facing.
They're pod people facing.
So that's it. I'm gonna keep track of that. XP, I'm thinking of starting to going back to
Milestones.
milestones, because I think it'll be a little easier to keep track of, especially in this format. Because doing things like this, I'm going to
I
have
agree with you.
less encounters, and like combat encounters are not going to be quite as like big, and there's not going to be as many things in them. Like they're not going to be any easy. That's not necessarily means they're going to be easier, but like
Yeah.
I think just to make life easier, I'm going to go back to milestone XP.
Okay. Now that
You guys are all level 6, I think, right?
no.
Yep.
Who's not?
No, we're all level 6. Watch
Okay.
my caught
Well,
up.
yeah, we're level 6.
Yeah, we should
Oh
level
yeah.
6 now.
I forgot. that you
Okay.
got that level
I was gonna
10.
make sure that, like, yeah, if any of you were not level 6, that you get yourself to level 6. Like, I was just gonna make anybody straggling behind a level 6 just to make life easier. But yeah, I think I'm gonna continue with milestone. That way I can control it a little easier, and then we're not too worried about like, oh, gotta kill this for the XP, and
Well, that's why I don't like the XP system in general, anyways.
yeah,
It's too combat focused.
it is. And I'm trying to get a more well-rounded thing going, which is like why I took the maps and shit away. I'm trying to get a more well-rounded experience out of the whole thing now, as
Okay.
opposed to just a kill thing simulator. Trying to turn you guys into not murder hobos.
are there
with-
any more of them standing, or is
Nope.
that
That is it for blah blah blah.
What the fuck?
Well,
God damn it.
it's literally got more of a chance to be a red number now.
So yeah, you guys seem to be alone in the chapel now. These strange, distended corpses.
Without
They all
weird,
seem to be dead.
without weird things yelling in my ear. We should probably check the lectern to see if there's any actual holy books.
Think any of them will still be intact?
Probably not, but it's worth
We
to
can
check
check.
it since we're here.
By all means.
check the podium for
So you
book slot.
like approaching the altar, you notice that sort of in like the centerpiece, like the main altar of this chapel, seems to be a block of strange material that glows with an inner light of opalescent blue.
I don't want this.
God damn it, cat! You're blocking all my shit. Here, go sit back there. Sit back there where you're not as annoying. So, yep. It's just a big old block of glowing bluestone.
There's
Or
no
glowing
spot
blue.
for where a book would be.
No. It just seems to be, like, you do not see any, like, there's no tapestries on it or books or anything on it. You see sort of twisted and well, not rusted, but tarnished brass candelabras, like freestanding candelabras, one on either side of the altar, and there's kind of kicked over, lying on the ground. There's also the remains of some kind of a chair on a slight dais behind the altar. The chair seems like it was once nicely carved and padded, but other than that, it seems like it was fairly unremarkable.
Well,
No one else touched
the
the weird thing
dais-
this time.
Is the
weird thing?
dice in any way significant?
it's pretty.
It's pretty and glowing.
I'm not trying it out this time. Why don't you do it?
Touching it.
You can touch it.
Okay, so as Lawaj places a hand on the altar, it starts to crackle with energy, and a giant lightning bolt erupts from it and fires through. I'm going to say it's going to go through Lawaj, Jez, who was looking at it, and I'll say the two of you. Give me dexterity saving throws. As a lightning bolt sort of blasts the two of you off your feet
There we
and
go.
cascades to the back of the room, and it sort of explodes on the back wall. So both of you guys succeed. Why do I not have any d6s out? 14, 16, 17, 19, 22. That's a really terrible fucking roll. You guys take 11 lightning damage each. That was a horrible damage roll for a lightning bolt. And sort of, as you guys kind of scramble back to your feet, the crackling on the altar kind of starts to subsist, and then it just goes back to just gently glowing.
Woo! That was great.
Okay. Let's say we go through that tunnel now.
Yeah. Can't really take the entire platform. Too big.
So, you guys head through the
Did we
little.
look at the archway? Is that what we were looking at just now?
Yeah.
That was the big altar. The big,
Yeah.
basically, it's like a block of, of just some unknown material. It doesn't seem like stone. Doesn't seem like crystal. You're not entirely sure what that altar was made
Did
of.
you want to check the archway before we left, Pyro?
Isn't the
wouldn't hurt.
archway?
Well,
The
yeah.
archway is off to the side. No, the tunnel and the archway are two
Oh.
kind of separate things.
Yeah.
The archway, yeah, you guys sort of approach it. The archway, it's like there's a stone archway, and that leads into essentially like a dead-end hallway, an immediate, like, 10-foot squared, it's almost like a closet. There doesn't seem
Inside?
to be anything inside whatsoever.
You want me to go in there and look for traps? Or not traps, but look for secret doors?
For that, can we discern what the runes are on the archway?
I think it told us that they were faded.
Yeah,
We were
give
far away
me
from
an Arcana check.
So, someone Arcana-y knew that.
I'll look.
I got
Take your
it,
pick.
I got it.
Our rogue is decent.
Not
I haven't
negative
got a
one,
plus
but I'm
one.
checking.
I thought I was better at than 6, but apparently
Yeah, so Lawaj is able to sort of figure out that. What would that be? So you find that
transmutation.
the runes are some kind of conjuration magic. You're not really sure what. Perhaps this was once used as perhaps this was once like a transport or like a teleporter or something like that.
Does it look like the archways we found before? in the basement or whatever?
No, this seems kind of completely different. It seems unique to this place.
You want me to go in the water closet and look for anything?
I will say it also seems like, as far as you can tell, it seems completely inert at this point.
Yeah.
Whether that is
Figured as
true
much.
or not is another story, but that's what
Yeah,
it seems
I'd rather
like.
throw something in it first to see. And I pick up some of the ghoul and throw it inside.
Sure.
You take like an arm.
It's literally candelabras.
So
I wanna
yeah,
throw the ghoul.
you take a chunk of ghoul, like from one that like Jez cut in half. You toss it through the archway, and nothing happens. It just kind of hits the back of the wall on the other side with kind of a sickening, just squishy thud, like a wet bag hitting the floor.
I giggle.
Lovely.
Of course you would.
What?
Okay.
If you want to walk through it, go ahead, Jez. It's not transporting dead ghouls.
I don't think it's gonna transport, but I might not be the best to find anything on the other side.
I'm walking through it.
I'm very wary at this
Okay,
point.
so Lawage walks through it, and nothing seems to happen. He ends up inside and walks around in there, comes back through. Nothing.
I'ma hug it.
Seems to be completely inert.
Not all it is.
Well, I'll walk in and look for any hidden doors in the little water closet,
Okay.
just in case.
Give me perception check. Well, I get my water. Yeah, you don't seem to find anything.
It's stone, guys. I'll walk out and start making my way towards the tunnel.
Okay. So,
I'll go first through that one.
So the tunnel seems to twist and turn around. It seems like it's much like the other tunnel you went through. It's about 3 foot diameter, maybe a little bigger. Just kind of hollowed out, almost like a creature kind of dug it, or something ate its way through the rock. It twists and turns and eventually bends around and starts to incline, and slowly it kind of twists around, and you end up coming out into a long 20-foot wide hallway.
Hey guys, look. Something we haven't encountered before. A hallway.
So this hallway is quite a bit different than the ones you guys were in before. So this hallway, so the walls and the floor all seem to be inlaid tile. Like it's a complete just random mosaic of colors, or probably once was. A lot of the color from all these tiles have faded away over time. You see various pictures across the walls of different figures holding large spheres. So there are depictions of creatures holding these big round spheres on all the walls. On the wall that you came out, in fact, like the tunnel that you crawled out of was a sphere that one of these figures was holding. The paint and the tile is all chipped off, but it looks like these spheres used to be just a myriad of colors. You see like green ones and blue ones and red ones and yellow ones. And they seem to be just all over the walls. Some at like head height, some down near the floor, some in the middle of the wall.
Okay.
And this seems to just continue on. You also see another arch. Like basically to the left, at the southern end of the hallway, you see another archway, very similar to the one you saw in the chapel, that again seems to lead to just a little dead-end alcove, just like in the chapel. You also see a couple of doors on the western wall, the wall across from you and further to the right. And you also see a passageway on the same wall that you exited from, but further up to the north, which would be to the right of you. That passageway seems to have maybe been a secret door. It doesn't seem like a full-size door. It seems a little shorter, a little narrower.
Okay.
So we have
Oh.
a couple of options.
If we just want to get out, we probably don't want to go into something that looks like a secret from this side.
Hmm.
Why is that?
Well, if it's a secret from this side, you're meant to go into it, not come out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, the
And
figures
doors.
painted on the wall holding the spheres seem to be humans and human-like creatures posing with spheres of different colors.
Yeah.
Does it give off any sort of religious vibe or what kind of vibe?
No, it seems like a weird, artsy, strange vibe. Like, who the hell would, like, not paint this? Because they're not painted, they're essentially made out of the tile. Like, the walls have been tiled in the shapes of these figures and these spheres.
Wacky, you're artsy. Do you understand this?
I don't think I want to understand it.
I mean, it could be a puzzle. We just are going through it backwards, so we don't get the clue.
I didn't sign up for a puzzle game,
'Cause
so I'm out.
We came out of one, right?
Yeah.
So likely the other ones are traps or secrets. Or dead ends and you're just gonna ram your head into a wall.
So there's doors on the western wall.
Yeah, you
There's
see
an
there are
archway.
two closed doors. They look identical to each other on the wall. Like, all of the openings are up the north. You guys are basically coming out in the dead center of the eastern wall. About 60, 70 feet down the hall is another archway with another dead end behind it. And that's, like, basically to the south. To the north is two doors on the opposite wall that are about 20 feet apart. They're both just common-looking doors. They look a lot like the door that you saw on the other side of that pit, way back down when you cross that 100-foot deep pit. Like, they just seem like regular iron-banded wooden doors. And then there is a opened secret passageway leading on the eastern wall, the same wall that you exited from. That is also in the north.
Can we go peek in the secret passageway?
I'm not worried, but I figure if someone's found the secret, it's also been looted.
That is a fair assumption.
So yeah,
Guess
you
we
can
can
look
check
in-
out the doors on the western
You can
wall.
look into it if you want, but I don't think there's gonna be anything in there.
So what doing?
I guess the other doors.
Yep.
The closed doors.
So they appear to be wooden. They're like wooden doors with like iron banding, essentially, like typical dungeony looking doors.
Are they unlocked?
I don't know. You'd have to try that.
Let's push them open.
Okay. So do you want to do the left door or the right door?
Are they like connected, leading to
Nope.
the same place? Or
Essentially, if you guys are facing the doors, you have a door on the left, a door on the right, and there's probably about 12 to 15 feet between them. And in between them is one of the figures holding a sphere, like on the wall. So they're kind of... The figures holding the spheres are about 10 feet apart from each other. And just instead of a sphere in this section of wall, there's a door. And then there's another sphere, and then there's another door. So they're spaced a good deal apart.
Stand next to like the left door, and then just like sort of look at Pyro and be like, "Go on."
left door, I guess.
Okay. So Pyro goes and pulls on the left door. And I'm trying to find the thing that's on the other side of that door. I had it. Oh, I know what I know where it is. Aha!
Too.
So, Yeah, so
Okay.
you pull open the door, and as you start to, like, kind of pull on the door, a panel in the front of the door pops open, and a spear shoots out. And the spear is going to make an attack roll on you. 27 to hit, which I'm assuming
That'll
hits. The spear is going to do 8 points of piercing damage. So you now have this spear kind of sticking out of your shoulder, and the little
Remember-
trap door closes back. And you notice kind of, as this is happening to you, you notice that the door does not seem to budge.
Remember, Pyro, you take less damage from piercing.
Oh yes.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you
so
for
that
reminding me.
8 or whatever I said becomes a 5. Because of his heavy armor master thing.
Yep.
But
I
yeah,
gotta remind everyone of their class abilities.
Yeah.
So the door didn't do it.
yep.
The
So
door
yeah,
is
you
budge.
kind of notice as the spear thing kind of closes and you stagger back, you kind of realize that the door didn't seem to move, like the door was a fake.
That's a mean trap.
I'm be like, okay, let's try the right one.
Okay.
I'll walk up to the right door,
Okay.
and I'm gonna
Wait,
look
wait,
for
wait.
traps.
Wait, if they're pull doors, don't like stand behind it as you pull it open.
Maybe you need to push.
I don't know, try it.
So what?
I'm
What's
looking
going
at
on?
Zepic's cat. I'm looking at your cat.
Oh.
It's like pawing at your
If you
head.
try to pull it open, just pull it open. Just like stand behind the doors, you pull it open.
Yeah, but if
But
it doesn't
I
move,
think you'll
you
still
don't
stab me
get
that
behind
way
it.
if it is a trap. I
Just,
mean, what are the chances of both of them being traps?
I'll
I
just
don't know.
open
Everything
it.
else in here there's been a lot of traps in here.
I'll just
Yeah.
open it.
What are the chances?
Yep.
Good.
As they're
The
arguing.
chances are
So
good.
Jez goes and pulls on the door, and a little flap opens, and a spear shoots out. 29 versus AC on Jez.
Yeah, I can't help with that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Where did my other D8 go? 10 points of piercing damage. And the door does not seem to open.
I'm like, fuck this place.
I know.
Okay.
Well,
So I guess the secret door.
Yeah.
I guess so. Really, the only other option right now, unless we go combing the walls for more secrets.
Yeah, we'd have to start combing the circles.
Comb the desert.
So, let's look in
How
the
does that comb
security,
the desert?
in the security room.
So, you guys kind of peer through the secret door, and it seems to lead to another small room, like a small dead-end room, probably about, like, not even 10 feet deep. And on the other side, directly across from the secret door, is another open secret door that seems to lead to another chamber beyond that.
Jesus Christ.
Seems pretty dope.
I'm gonna test the floor with my sword. Just make sure it's like not gonna kill us.
So you kind of tink, 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 and as far as you know, the floor seems fine.
Okay, let's go.
I can't even tap on the floor with my sword.
I
you
guess
you can bend down and use the hilt.
Yeah.
So
I have a great sword.
you kind of move. You move through the. You guys move through the secret door and through the other secret door, and that seems to lead to a hallway that turns to the right. And at the end of that short hallway is another secret door that seems ajar.
Guess we keep going. I mean, we don't really
Yeah.
have any other options.
Just keep swimming.
So
Just keep.
you
Is
guys
there
move.
anything of note on this hallway?
Nope. Seems to just basically be a completely like bare hallway as far as you can tell.
Alright. Then let's continue on this bare hallway.
So you guys
You're attacked by
continue
bears,
through
there are bears in it.
you continue through that hallway. On the other side of that secret door is another secret door to the left, which leads to another hallway, which leads to 3 more secret doors that are all propped open. And that eventually leads you to a dead-end little hallway, about a 10-foot wide by a 10-foot wide, 10-foot long room with a regular door.
Okay, guys.
What could possibly be beyond this
Like,
door?
you guys have gone through 7 secret doors at this point, all of which seem to have been like propped open.
Is there a room on the side of this door for me to stand, or is it like taking up most of the end of the hallway?
You might be able to squeeze a little bit to the side of it. It does take up sort of most of the wall. I mean, a door's really only like 4 feet wide, essentially, but actually, door's technically 3 feet wide, but yeah, there's a little bit of room if you wanted to squeeze beside it.
I'm gonna tell Pyro to open it, and I'm gonna ready to chop the spear if it comes out.
All right, that's quite the reflexes you'd think that you're gonna have, but
This is just a weird.
I'm just gonna like spider crawl on the wall and just kind of try and lay flat.
okay. So you pull on the door, or I guess you get Pyro to pull on the door, and it moves and begins to open.
I start to move because I think the flap is opening, and I'm like, oh, okay.
So, on the other side of the door, it opens up into a 20-foot by 20-foot room. Inside this room, on the far wall from you, is a broken and it's in really bad shape, but it's a large statue of a gargoyle. The gargoyle seems to have 3 arms. One of its arms is broken off and kind of like laying on the floor at its feet. But much of the statue is like chipped away and broken and in... Like, it seems like this thing's taken a beating over the years.
Does it have anything? Or is
You
it
mean-
just a statue? I was asking if it had, like, new weapons or anything in it. Or if it's just, like, a statue.
Give me a perception check.
One of these days I'll roll good. It's not today.
It appears to just be a broken old stone statue. Like, maybe this is the storage room. Maybe this is where they keep it. They bring it out for Halloween. Scare children with it.
Oh, the statue's useless, so. I'm gonna keep going, guys.
Is there
I want to get
another-
out of here.
I mean, yeah. Is there a way to continue going?
Or is it just dead end?
Oh, no, there is also a door beside the statue leading out.
And we're
Sorry,
going
my
that
bad.
way.
Yep.
So, you guys move through you notice that the dar is slightly ajar. So,
Yeah, that was...
yeah, so you guys find that the door beside the statue is like slightly ajar. You know, kind of peer through that and see another 20-foot long hallway on the other side, and that seems to lead into another hallway. Another hallway filled with mosaic tiles, tiled floors, and you see like tiles on the walls as well. And there also appears to be daylight, sort of coming
Oh my
from
god.
or some kind of light source towards the left-hand side of that hallway.
Let's go that way.
So, as you guys move along, you guys kind of step out into this mosaic hallway. You notice all sorts of brilliant frescoes, or probably what was once brilliant frescoes a long time ago, adorning both of the walls, like the wall across from you and also the wall you step out from. On the ground is a intricate mosaic of just many colored tiles, and then there seems to be like a red tile path that snakes along the hallway. Like it kind of just zips and zooms back and forth, like going from one wall to the other, seemingly almost at random. There also seems to be a bunch of open pits that kind of like there seems to be a bunch of open pits in various spots around the outsides of this red path on the floor. You can see that there is daylight coming up from like to the left of the door you ran out. The hallway eventually ends, and it leads to a passageway that seems to go up into the outside, possibly. At the far end of the hallway that the little red path seems to lead to, it leads to another archway, much like the one that you guys saw on the one wall, and at the very end of the hallway is another one of those big green open-mouthed faces. And the red path seems to snake its way past all these pits and go directly towards that face.
Okay, so it doesn't touch any of the holes, though.
There's one or two of the holes that seem to be directly in the middle of the path, but for the most part it snakes around them.
And how big is each hole?
They're about 10 feet by like 10 feet.
So
Kind-
we should.
Kind of peering. You guys seem to be sort of towards the entrance. Like you guys are towards the entrance of this hallway. Like there's not really any more pits that you can see between you and the exit. In fact, you seem to have walked through a doorway that has a couple of almost jackal-like figures kind of painted around the outsides of the doorway you walked through.
Okay. Well, in that case, we don't have to deal with the pits. We could just go to
Unless you want to go investigate the other archway or the big green face at the end of the hall.
Do we? I don't think we do.
It seems
Right now-
seems important. The path leads like right to it.
The
Man.
path also leads to outside, technically.
Well, yeah, but it would lead from outside into these things.
So are the giant green face and the outside in the same direction? Or
No.
are they
No,
opposite
they're in opposite directions.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, we're more concerned with getting out than the green thing. I mean,
It's probably important later on, but
I'll start making my way towards the green thing in the archway. Like, following the red path, except for where there's a pit in the middle of the path, and I'll just, like, step around it.
Okay.
I'll follow her.
Okay. So you guys head back down southways, back into the tomb, heading towards the face and the archway. What does
I
it?
look at the outside way. I'm just gonna be like, and I'm gonna follow them.
Okay.
It won't be long. We can see the outside still. Until it closes up, we're fine. I want to look at the archway to see if there's any... Are they similar rooms?
It seems to be like a similarly constructed archway. Again, like the runes are kind of faded and difficult to discern, but it does look very similar construction to the previous two that you've seen. And there's also kind of a dead-end room behind it, just like the other two.
I feel
These
like
are
they're
probably-
just like elevators of sorts.
Yeah. They probably either don't work anymore or they need a key.
And there's also a big stone green thing. Where's my stone green thing? Green
Same
devil
stone
face.
green face thing. Yep.
Yep. And there's one of these things sitting at the end of the hall. The red path seems to lead right to it. It's got a big gaping mouth that's about 3 feet in diameter.
Is there anything inside of the mouth?
You can't tell. It is like pitch black inside the mouth.
I look at
Are there
Jazz's sword.
any stones on the ground?
Sure. There's probably chunks of tile that have pried up over the years and bits of rubble and that.
I'm gonna cast light on it and check into the face.
Okay. You throw it into the face and it instantly disappears into the blackness. It seemed... You feel like you may have seen this trick before with that face in the Amber Temple.
Yeah, so it's a magical darkness, and now we don't have a wizard to dispel it. We have no idea what we'd get into. I think for now we should probably just go and make a note of it.
Yeah.
Come back later.
So I've got that great sword that belonged to what's his nuts,
Mhm.
Vladimir.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Can
we want to
Vladimir get
Did
out?
we want to get rid of that?
Uh,
Is
What's
is
the deal
it
with that sword again?
expendable? It's a +2 great sword.
Okay.
But I don't know anything else about it. I just picked it up because it was there.
I mean,
Is that expendable to us?
None of us
It's
can use it
plus
except
2.
Pyro. So
Pyro
Yeah, but
could
you
use
would
it
have
if he
to-
ever wants to do two-handed.
Yeah, I have a
And,
shield.
and
I
if
can
any
use
of
my
you
shield.
die and roll new characters that
And-
can use great
and
swords,
you're-
you may
Yeah.
want it.
It may give
sure,
it may be
just
the best sword in the
roll
game.
barbarian.
I have. Hang on. I have a regular longsword that's like a plus nothing. If you want to do something with a sword that you want to get rid of, we can use that.
No, I was just gonna try poking it into the mouth and then see if I could pull it back out.
Go for it.
Like I'll do that with the longsword just in case.
Yeah, I mean, well, there was the possibility that. Well, okay, go ahead then. I don't know.
I'm gonna-
I don't know
If-
how.
If you're
you want
worried
to keep
about
the sword that belongs to a revenant or not.
if you're worried about Hornguard getting out, I don't know if he can.
Well, it's all you. From what you guys know of revenants, you don't think that like the sword is the key to him coming after you. You think that he's coming after you no matter what.
We are the beacon.
Like the fact, yeah, yours lives are like what he would be drawn to, not that sword in particular.
Hey, he
Oh,
might be drawn
well,
to
I know,
Dusty
but,
first.
like-
Yeah. he
Like
might
if
be
if you were all dead, then he has no reason to pursue you any further. So
Yeah,
there's
if
always
we,
that
if we
to
all
think about.
die, he instantly disappears.
Well, I guess I'll take the longsword and like hand it to Aki to see what she wants to do with it. It's like
Or I'll like stick the pointy end into the spear and then try to pull it back out.
Hey
Yep.
guys, did you ever play watch the movie Flatliners? We all
So-
kill ourselves. He'll disappear.
So you stick the sword into the darkness as it pierces the veil of the basically the borderline of the magical darkness. It completely disappears, and then when you pull it back out, it's all still there.
Okay. Thought it was just gonna get like sucked in or something. I don't know. Then I'll just save it back to far.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna poke downwards into it, just like that into the mouth to see if there's a floor.
Yep. There seems to be a floor where you would expect there to be a floor. Like it seems to be almost like a tunnel. Like the mouth seems to continue on as a tunnel as you kind of like poke around in the inside of it.
I'm gonna say, let's go make sure we can actually get outside first, and then if we feel like it, we'll continue poking around in this guy's
Well-
mouth.
We can see the
I don't-
sunlight.
Feel like it. Yeah, let's not. I just wanted to see if it was just like, I don't know, if it just like sucks things in or whatever.
I'm gonna put my
It
sword
was
away.
evil.
Teams suck.
And let's
Teams
go
suck.
outside.
Yeah.
Didn't fall
Alright, let's
fast.
leave. Let's get the fuck out of
Suddenly,
here.
the green devil face spits out a whole bunch of skulls, and we have to shoot them all.
Yep. Skulls just start flying out of it. Skulls wreathed in green flame.
Oh God,
I
we're
don't
gonna
have
run
my
the
Arc
first.
Souls
flame?
Rift. What the fuck?
Green flame. I've got those. I've got
There's-
many green flame.
Alright, we're getting the fuck out of here.
I lost
No.
my thing. Alright, so you guys head on out. You pass through sort of the entrance to this tomb. You find that, like, as you kind of like leave through the entrance of it, the passageway outside seems to have been dug out of like a hillside. Like it seems to have been like completely buried by like dirt and rock, and somebody's dug like a 4 foot or so like tunnel through. You guys kind of crawl through that, and you end up outside. Looking back, you seem to be towards the top of a sort of low, flat-topped, lonely hill, and you see a bunch of large black stones arranged in in certain specific piles on top of the hill.
From this hill, can we see any settlements?
So from here, you seem to be in the middle of nowhere. You kind of look around, and you see some trees, you see some kind of flatlands, but yeah, there doesn't seem to be anybody around as far as you can tell.
Is it a grassy area? Like foresty, grassy?
Yeah, there seems to be some grass and some plains lands and stuff like that. It appears to be, we'll say like midday.
I'm gonna look around and be like, we got out of that. He made it seem like it would be much harder to do that.
Maybe the certain
Maybe
death
we're not
was.
done. I don't
Maybe the
feel like-
certain death was when we die of old age. Because that's certain. Going to happen.
Well,
Dusty's probably
guess-
already dead.
I mean,
Maybe he
What are you gonna
always
do now?
was dead.
pick a direction and just start walking.
Left.
I would try a runestone.
Why don't we try a smarter way? You say it's noon?
Yep.
Or is it closer to afternoon?
It's probably, I would say it's about noon.
But we definitely can't tell which direction we're going by the sun.
Well, I mean, eventually you can.
Let's go left.
Left is not a
I'm gonna
direction.
pull out the.
Let's go east. Is that better?
Actually, I'm gonna have Wacky get the stone that would call the ship guy, and see if it works. The dwarf.
Yeah, try to call Gadrin, I guess.
Yeah.
Though he doesn't know where we are, so he can't exactly pick us up.
Right, but at least we'll know it's like we're
So-
in the same plane of existence.
Yeah, that is a good point.
You guys pull out the stone, use the magical keyword for the artifact that you were told by Gadrin. He said that the magic word for activating it is hello.
Hello?
Yeah, you just have to say it like a whole bunch of times. So
Hello.
you kind of like focus in on it and concentrate on it, and after a few minutes, a familiar kind of gruff dwarven voice sort of resonates from the stone and says, "It's like, aye, who is this? Where did you find this?
Where'd you get my number?
You gave it to us.
New phone, who dis?"
This
New
is the
sending
adventuring
stone, who
party
dis?
that helped you with your gleaming endeavor.
It's like, what are you talking? They've been dead for months. You can't be them.
Months.
Like we
It's only
we
been-
lost
just
we
been
lost
doing
track
that
of them
for a
when
few
they went
months.
into Barovia almost a year ago. Like where?
Oh god.
Oh, has it been that
It's been
long?
a year. Time
It's like,
must not work.
if
the
you're
same.
truly them, and you are who you say you are, what is the name of the object that you found that helped power my vessel?
That's you guys. I wasn't there.
I was.
I don't think I was there either.
Oh my
What?
god.
I'm sure you were. It's
I
the
don't
same
think
place
I
we got the
was.
scales of resurrection. I don't know what he called it.
Oh my-
now.
It's like, aye, it is you. I would recognize that dumbfounded silence anywhere. It's like, this is incredible. We all thought you were dead.
One of us might be.
Some of us might be.
It's like, well, where are you? I'll come pick you up immediately.
That's
They've
a
had
good
me
one.
doing they've had me doing
No
supply
idea.
runs to Neverwinter.
Have you ever seen a pile of black stones on a hill?
It's like,
Tomb of
I've seen many
Acererak.
piles of rocks on many hills.
Tomb of Acererak, you know where that is?
I don't think too many people
Point of
know.
interest.
So it's like,
Um,
well, it's like, what does the surrounding features look like?
It's one hill, grass,
So-
a couple of trees.
Give me nature checks.
What does? Well, I know those stones are in a specific pile. Specific piles.
There we go.
Ooh, there you go.
So the
I'm very
the elf, the elf is able to kind of recognize that you guys seem to be in, like, you seem to be in some kind of almost like flatlands, a lot of like low rolling hills. From the
Temperate,
description, Gadrin is able to tell you. It's like, it sounds like you're in the High Moor. Like that's.
I feel like we're north of and south of Neverwinter. Somewhere in that belt.
He tells you, it's like I know the area you're talking about. That's the High Moor. It's like you must be somewhere there. Like, I can narrow in on your location based on the stone that I gave you, but having an idea of where you are like makes it a little bit easier. It's like I can be there in 3 days. So sit tight and try not to be dead.
Sure. You seem to be doing a good job of it so far.
Oh wow, I was actually very accurate with that. We're north of and south of Neverwinter.
So you guys camp out, like unless you guys want to go exploring the High Moor. But Gadrin basically tells you guys from the sounds of it, you're like out in the middle of nowhere near any other settlements. That your best bet's to just kind of
Feel exactly where we are.
make camp, stay in one place, so he doesn't have to keep coming and looking for you.
Well, did he tell us?
If Dusty was here, we would have a hut.
Is there any features?
Yeah, it's essentially a lot of like the moors themselves.
Any tourist spots?
So,
gift shops?
assuming we go back, we have had plenty of long rests.
Yeah, so you guys make camp you make camp. Gadrin, you kind of talk to him briefly a couple of times. He tells you that he was doing a supply run between Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter. So he was not actually all that far. And with his runs done, has no problem fucking just booting right over there and picking you guys up.
Does he still have the pseudo dragon?
You're not sure. You'll have to see when you meet him
We'll
again.
ask him.
It was a
Also,
fairy
why is
dragon.
Dusty here?
But you guys waited out, and eventually, after 3 days, a familiar-looking airship kind of crests over like the tree line, and kind of swings around, spotting the sort of the details that you've kind of marked out to him, and it basically just drops, a good 50 feet or so. Just skims the top of the trees and drops a rope ladder for you to climb on board.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Assuming.
They're climbing a rope ladder.
Okay. So you guys climb on board. You see, as you guys start climbing, I don't know, who would be in the lead? Who's climbing up the thing first?
I'll do it if no one else goes. I mean,
I'll do it.
Can I just walk up the rope? Do I have to
No.
climb it?
You have to climb it.
I'll be the first one up.
Okay,
because
so
I
as
figured to get out
as
here.
Wacky begins to crest the top of the ladder, you basically reach like the top rung of the rope ladder, and as you can kind of get your head above deck level, a small, colorful looking dragon seems to just be sitting right at the top of the ladder in front of you, and it calls out, "Pay toll, 50 gold."
we brought you pies. I scream from underneath Wacky.
You want some pie?
I remember you.
We brought you your
It starts
pie.
hopping up and down, 50 gold, 50 gold. My ship.
Gadrin?
So
Can't you just climb past him, Wacky?
Just ignore him.
Last time it was on my head, it fucking farted in my face, and then
It was a
something
year
was
ago.
gonna happen to me.
It's fine. Just ignore him and go move on.
Okay, then I'm just gonna ignore it and keep going.
okay, you kind of push itself out of its way, or you basically push past it, and it kind of stumbles back, and it kind of just hops angrily up and down, and it seems to start. It starts cursing you in Draconic.
I don't understand a word you're saying, buddy,
You want me to translate for you?
but I appreciate the sentiment.
I don't know. You're being a lawful good paladin, Pyro. You're oh, I couldn't repeat some of these things out loud. Ooh. It's
I
like
don't
my
understand
my
how
order
it's
would
like-
disband me if I said those words out loud.
Whatever.
Ooh, terrible.
I should give him something.
But Gadrin kind of calls out to you guys as you climb on board. He's up at the wheel, like basically holding the ship steady. Since he's kind of got the thing just hovering above the tree line. As you guys all finish climbing aboard, he kind of wheels it around, gets some altitude, and once he finds like that the thing seems to be kind of drifted on its own pretty good, he comes over and basically starts like hugging the whole lot of you. He's like, I can't believe me eyes. Like I was 100% convinced you were all dead.
How long did you wait around these?
Like
Wherever
2,
the place is.
maybe 3 days.
Well, he said he was only gonna hang around for a little bit. That's why we still have the stone.
It's like, you guys had the. It's like, why didn't you? Like, where have you been? Why didn't you call?
Oh,
We-
Barovia.
We were only in there for like what, a few weeks, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
as far as you can tell,
It's obvious that time has passed differently while we were in there. So
Yeah,
as far as you can tell, you were in Barovia for like a couple of weeks. Like
Most
that-
planes have some sort of time dilation.
there we go.
Couldn't exactly call you from another plane. So
Well, we
I-
kind of hopped a few planes
We
in
did-
existence, if I'm not mistaken.
We didn't have sending stone service.
Yeah, you guys kind of turn the thing over, and there's some bars like on the back of it. Like right now, like all of them are lit up, like all like 4 of them. You notice when you're down in the tomb, there's like 0 bars.
Actually,
Hold on, I'm going through a tunnel.
It's like, well,
Might lose ya.
so tells you, it's like, the others, they're going to be just as surprised as I am. Like,
oh,
Wait,
I'm sure they
wait
will.
till the captain gets a look at like the lot of you. He was the first one to think you were all dead.
Of course he was.
He
course
never
he
had,
was.
he never had any faith in us.
It's like, hell, even that old man, like, after you didn't come back, that old man ranting and raving about that Barovia place. They sent him up to Neverwinter to help fill in what was going on. Like, Graf Buren, I think his name was.
Yeah,
If that was
sounds
his
about
name.
right.
If that is his real name.
So, over the several-day journey, oh, why am I zooming out? I don't mean to be
Fill
zooming out.
him in on everything that happened in Barovia.
Let's see, you guys are in the Highmoor. Yeah, it's probably take about 4 or 5 days. Probably take about, 4 days, 5 days if you...
we're going to Neverwinter, right?
Yep. He's taking you guys back to Neverwinter. You guys kind of fill him in on what's been going on. He tells you, it's like, things have been a bit of a mess since you've been gone. The Githyanki have begun invading the Sword Coast. It's been mostly smaller skirmishes. Nothing quite as bad as our dealings with the cult a couple of years ago, but they've been picking at some of the larger settlements, causing a lot of trouble. No one's quite sure that Gith Zarai fella that you guys brought to Neverwinter. He's gone back to visit with his people to try and figure out exactly what they're planning. Because they seem to just be... what they've been doing so far just seem to be poking and prodding at our defenses. Like, no, there's been no full-scale invasion as of yet, but it feels like it's only a matter of time. Ever since you left and the invasion started, Amon helped me trick out my ride a little bit, and I've been running supply runs between Neverwinter, Waterdeep, and most of the other Lord's Alliance cities.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely have some information that that we should probably get back to Belgard
The guy that was setting up,
regarding a,
the guy that was setting up Barovia to be this collector of
Soul
souls.
machine.
Yeah, the Soul Machine
Soul
has
Machine.
bigger
That's
plans
what the
than
ladies call
just
me.
Barovia, obviously, and it's not the destruction like they said. Something about a soulmonger.
It's like, well, I don't know anything about any of this. I just fly
No.
this airship. Like, you really need to talk to Captain Belgard and Amon. They'll
It's
know
just
what
nice
to
to
do.
see people who aren't trying to kill us.
Whose name
Yeah.
on
He,
again?
he just kind of like leans in and like glowers at you and says, "Who says I'm not trying to kill you?"
Well, you're not being as obvious
They-
about it. That's-
Then he waits like a good like 10-15 seconds and he just like starts barrel laughing and like slaps you so hard you almost kind of careen like overboard.
He's literally trying to kill you. I'm gonna.
He's like, "This is great. It's great seeing you lads again. This is fun."
I want to ask him. Since you deal with Neverwinter a lot now, are there any good? What are the good blacksmiths there?
Right back to it, I see.
Yeah.
Well, he tells you he doesn't really know much about that. It's mostly just he spends like all of his time like in the harbor, like collecting supplies, like
Dropping off supplies.
basically drinking. He doesn't really get. He tells you he's been spending a lot of time at. Oh God, what's the name of that fucking?
Is it the tavern we visited?
Yeah, it's the tavern that Luage got into the food fight in.
I was just about to ask. I wonder how
God.
that work is doing.
So
I've never been there.
after a few days, his
before
ship
my
kind of
time.
pulls in. I will also say you kind of notice as you pull away from the tomb that you found yourselves in, you notice that the black stones that were kind of piled around on the hill seem to form the appearance of a skull when kind of viewed up like from a great height. So you're like, oh look, that's kind of on the nose, but all right. So you guys eventually make it back to Neverwinter. The Gleaming Endeavor basically kind of flies in, swoops along the eastern side of the town. Oh, I guess I should bring you with me. Boop. Swoops along the eastern side of the town, the western side of the town, and just kind of parks at one of the docks in the harbor. A couple of stalls over from that ship that you guys sunk all those months ago.
Before tavern.
Year now.
Yeah.
So Gadrin tells you, it's like, I've got another supply run, or I've got these supplies to sort out, and another run to schedule. You guys should head right on over to the castle, see the captain. It's like, I wish I could go with you, just to see the look on his face when you guys walk into the room.
You don't want to see it. I have an idea of what it's gonna be.
Anger.
You
He's
fucked
probably gonna
things
be
up
angry.
again.
He's angry.
Before we leave, I'm gonna sort of like snap my fingers at the little fairy dragon and be like, "Hey, buddy, you like toys?"
It's like, can I eat toys?
If you try really hard, but probably not. Alright, well, I'll take out the shattering teeth that I got from Barovia. I'll just throw it onto the deck, like in front of him.
So as you kind of toss it onto the deck, they start to kind of bounce and chatter around, and you see the dragon kind of start trying to bite it, and then the teeth kind of bite him back, and then it kind of squeals and starts like spitting clouds of some kind of like some kind of noxious looking little clouds out of its mouth at the teeth. But the teeth seem completely undeterred.
I know exactly what that is, because it did it to me.
And the teeth just kind of keep bouncing and chattering and like rotating around, and it keeps trying to kind of bite the teeth, and the teeth kind of bite it back. This continues on for some time, probably past the point that you guys stick around.
Give it any of those pies? Like,
Oh,
I
I
was
was
still leaving
going to.
okay.
I was just waiting until it stopped doing that.
Oh.
Eventually, I
Here.
stopped watching it, just like wave at Gadget
Here,
and give him
here,
thanks
little
again.
dragon. Here, I got you food.
So
I'm
It's got,
surprised.
it's got meat in it.
I'm surprised you're parting with one of the pies.
So-
I've one, just one.
So the dragon kind of sniffs at the pie, and you see it kind of like bust through the top of the pastry with its beak, and then kind of like sniff it like the insides, and then it starts to kind of back away from it, and then it just stares at Lawage and starts to kind of like back away from Lawage.
Well, fuck you, I'm gonna eat it, and I eat it.
Okay.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Does he need a save if he just does it willingly?
Well, you know what?
You
Yeah,
set
you
it up.
can't intentionally throw. If you want to just enter Dreamland, you could just intentionally botch the roll.
Oh yeah, I'm just intentionally.
Okay, so
Fuck.
yeah, you see Lawage, like his eyes just glaze over, and he's gone. He's in Dreamland.
I'm just gonna stare at him. I'm gonna give him like a minute, and then I'm gonna shove him and be like, "Come
Okay.
back to us."
Yeah, the shove is more than enough to snap him out of it.
Ah, that was one of the best ever. That's great.
Next time, maybe do that when we don't have to go somewhere.
It was a minute.
I was just gonna leave the teeth and then leave.
I'm gonna look at
Yeah,
Gadget.
you guys looking like Wacky's already like halfway down the docks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be that far away.
Civilization that isn't trying to kill us.
Yeah,
So.
I'm gonna go follow them.
Okay, so you guys make your way through the harbor, up towards Castle Never. It's not all that far from the harbor itself. You cross one of the big stone bridges there, to the fairly renovated castle. Castle's still not 100%. It hasn't been for many decades. The guards at the gate kind of ask you to state your business and like what you're doing here.
We're here to see
Yes.
Captain Bellegarde.
Like, what is he expecting you?
Probably not.
He's definitely not expecting us.
He sent us out on a job a little while ago. May not expect us to be back after so long,
It's about a
But-
year.
but it's still our duty to report back.
Supposedly last week was a year away. A
So
year ago.
he, the one guard kind of looks at the other guard. They kind of look at you, and one just kind of shrugs at the other. It's like, all right, follow me. And so they begin to lead you through the castle. You guys kind of snake through various like entryways and hallways and that, and they eventually lead you to some kind of meeting hall or planning room. The doors swing open, and you see three familiar faces. You see Captain Bellegarde, who seems to be poring over some paperwork and some kind of map. You see the Royal Court Wizard Amon, and the Harper agent Ramalia Haventree that
Did we
you remember
meet Amon?
talking to.
We met. I think we spoke to Amon. No.
Oh yeah, Amon was there. Amon was there when you guys were learning about Barovia.
Okay. Oh yeah. I know.
Yeah, you know him as essentially the court wizard of Neverwinter. Like he's like the head. He's the archmage of the city, essentially.
Okay.
So, you guys kind of walk in. It's Amon and Ramalia kind of like look at you. I don't really say anything. Eventually, like the captain kind of looks up, and you see just like all the all the
We're
color
back.
kind of just drain from his face, and it's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Good to see you too, buddy.
Told you,
Didn't you,
man.
didn't you miss us?
No, of course it did. Where the hell have you been for the last 9 months?
Oh, you know, going to that place you needed us to investigate.
Well, to be fair, for us, it's only been like 3 weeks, maybe tops.
What do you mean? And he kind of like looks at Amon, and Amon just kind of like, he just kind of like looks at you guys, and he kind of looks back at the captain, and he just shrugs, big open shoulders, like, oh, I don't know. Like this,
We got a lot to tell you.
it's like, yeah. You see him kind of basically just like throw his like pen down on the table. He's like, yeah, I bet you do.
Aren't pens just like quills, sort of just like float
Yeah,
down?
it's, he's like, wait, wait, and then he like sits down in his chair.
For once, we didn't burn everything when we left,
Like, all right,
even
so
though we probably should have this time.
Yeah.
this- yeah, he kind of turns to like Romalia and is like, well, it's like this needs my immediate attention. Unfortunately, we'll continue this at a later time. And she just kind of like nods to him and gives like a nice sort of fancy bow to Amon, and she kind of like skirts around you guys and takes her leave.
Good to see you again, Romelia.
And she's kind of smiles and like waves to you guys as you kind of say goodbye to her as she leaves.
Who was that? She was pretty.
Don't remember myself.
Oh, God.
What?
Of course you wouldn't.
Her description was under her picture.
So Captain Belgard
I come
just kind of
from
leans
behind.
back, and you see him just kind of like rubbing like his eyes with his hand, and he's like, the fact that you guys have now just reappeared after being missing for the last 9 months, I take it you don't have good news.
Nope.
Do we ever?
Alright,
I think no news would be worse.
that
'cause
is
then
true.
you have less knowledge of things that are fucking everything.
Alright. So, I guess I assume we'll go over, like, the stuff that happened in Barovia
Everything.
isn't as important, I guess.
Also, make sure you show him the book.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, like, hand him the journal, Jafar.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, basically explain that Sir Sean has a boss named a Sararak, as we have figured out.
Mike, Sarah.
His plans are, written out in this journal of his. They are, obviously responsible for the
Yankee?
or was it Zerai?
Get the Yankee. Get Zerai are the good guys.
Invasions.
I gotta say, writing all your plans down in a book for the heroes to find is such a classic villain blunder.
Yeah, but you also figure from like the brief period of meeting him and like the sort of the way he writes, you imagine that he thinks so little of you or any other heroes that he just doesn't care. It's like even if you like tried to stop him, like what good would it do? That like he's so far above any of you that it's whatever. If anything, it would the thrill of the chase and
And I imagine he doesn't care, but you could tell him that, like, time passed differently in Barovia. We've only, as far as we know, we've only been gone for about 3 weeks. But apparently it's been 9 months out here.
he's like that's strange. That seems like if that was going to be the case, why didn't the old man fucking tell us this? He was in Barovia. He should know that.
He did tell us a lot of things.
He's a fuckhead.
Like, wow, he is still in town. Amon, can you just go like clear this up at some point? Amon just kind of gives him a thumbs up.
It bothers me that Amon's beard goes underneath his necklace. It's a weird thing.
Oh yeah.
That
we
way it
lost
keeps-
our wizard.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean you've lost your wizard?
He
Kind
was
of
there,
embarrassing, actually.
and now he's gone.
Sararak. I keep calling him Sarah.
Sarah.
It's like, look,
Sort of.
like it's
Took him away from
okay.
us.
I get it. Like I was about your guys' age when my grandfather died too. So it's okay. I get it. You just have to
I'm
push
like-
past it.
I'm like 300.
You know,
It's like, sure
it's
you are,
also
kid.
possible that it's not Barovia, because after we left Barovia, we went to this weird dimension where Sarah lives.
Mm,
It was for a brief time, but anything's
okay,
possible.
bye, Jez.
Oh, bye, Jess.
Bye, Jez.
Bye,
was weird.
Jez.
That was weird. Yeah, like Amon basically tells you like it could have been from Barovia. Like nothing that Graf has told us has sort of led us to believe that would be the case, but I suppose it's entirely possible. It's like I'll have to look into it. So good news is you're here and you're alive.
I
So-
suppose so. So what would
No.
you like us to do next for you?
So the captain kind of starts he starts kind of pouring through the book, and you see him kind of skimming through the passages that you guys read. And when he gets towards the end of it, you see him pass the book over to Amon, and he says, "Well, we know where it is. I mean, to be fair, that is a step in the right direction. It's like things have been not so good since you all decided to take your little vacation. While you were gone, I'm sure that Gundren, or sorry, not Gundren, Gadrin. I forgot that was the mistake naming him Gadrin because I always confused it with Gundren. I remember that mistake now. Gadrin, I'm sure, told you about the skirmishes we've been having with the Githyanki. So far, it's not really been anything that we can't handle. And I'm going to stop for a second and say thanks, DinoClaw567, for the sub. You are my first sub. Congratulations. Probably be my only one, but you're definitely my first. Thank you. I'm hoping that's not been there for a while and I missed it.
No, it just got there.
Good. I figured so because I've been looking at the chat every once in a while. He tells you, yeah. So so besides the Githyanki starting to march on the various points of the Sword Coast, there's also been a problem. The last couple of months or so, there seems to be some worldwide curse, and that anyone that has ever been returned from the dead seems to be dying. And the temples have been all reporting in all the major cities that they are no longer able to raise the dead.
Oh no.
So,
Well, glad we
just
never
to
died.
clarify, Medrash would
Yeah,
be
he's dead.
dying.
Shadow
Yes.
would be dying. A lot of people would be dying, actually.
Yep. It's like this curse, the curse has been setting in for a little bit now. People all over the Sword Coast are beginning to slowly waste away. Ramalia and and some of her harpers have found that they've managed to divine that the cause is something called a soulmonger.
What do you
And that is the most information that we've been able to figure out until you just showed up. Because of you, we now know where it is,
Or
and
like some
who's
sort of NPC Deus Ex
You're
Machina.
welcome.
and who's responsible for creating it. As little as that really helps us. So now that you're back, I guess it's time I put you to work. I've got new orders for you, kids. I'm sending you to Cholt.
Do any of us know where Cholt is, actually?
Give me history checks. History checks.
That's as best as
Sure.
you're gonna probably get.
I am so sure I do not know.
So
Where is it?
as you're all kind of as
it is.
Wacky kind of asks that out loud, and you're all kind of stopping through
Do any of
Where-
us know what Cholt is?
Amon kind of chimes in. He says, Cholt is a tropical jungle peninsula to the south. Is at the far southern end of Faerun. Directly south of here. On the other side of the sea, across from
Let's
Kalimshan.
see. I know that one.
Did I not upload the giant map of Faerun? God damn you, me. God damn you, me.
Is that why you needed the big map of Faerun?
Well, that and other things. But, so he tells you, it's like, yes, it's in the south. It's a long way south. A few hundred miles from Baldur's Gate. It's like, alright, what I need you guys to do then is find the soulmonger and stop it, or you know what? Just break it, destroy it. I know who I'm talking to. I know what to expect from you guys. Just destroy it. Pretend it's a ship, and like burn it to the ground.
Oh no.
Can you please do that for me?
I haven't burned any ships to the ground.
You're asking us as if we have a choice.
It's like, well, of course you have a choice. I mean, I can put you on the front lines fighting Githyanki instead if you want.
But then who would burn down your soulmonger?
Yes, we will go find the soulmonger.
That's what he's saying.
So Amon kind of just smiles widely at all of you. He's like, excellent! Sounds great.
If only we had somebody who could cast Fireball.
I can do it next level.
Well, Amon's like, well, there you go. It's like, the captain just kind of like sighs as he stands up. He's like, well, alright. I'll prepare rooms for you. You can stay here in the castle as guests for the night. Amon, can you go get a hold of your friend Gadrin there? They're going to need passage down to Cholt. But as fast as the fastest thing we've got is your friend's airship.
We could just call him.
Well, he doesn't know that.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Captain Belgard doesn't.
Oh yeah, we have a sending stone. I pull out the stone.
Hello.
He's like, okay, well, he's like, all right, that works. Call him then.
Hello?
I guess we just ring up Gadrin
Hello?
again.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
So, you guys try for a few minutes, and Gadrin doesn't seem to be answering. You see Amon kind of like chuckling to himself in the corner.
Like, I get a feeling
And
we'll find him at the tower.
The captain just kind of like looks at you all like, it's like, okay. Amon, can you take care of this? You can get a hold of Gadrin for me.
Is this place under some sort of anti-magic zone?
Like clearly Barovia has destroyed their extremely fragile minds.
It has. Thank you for noticing.
There's some fucked up shit in there, right?
I have another eye.
Oh god, you do? Oh, you do?
He's like, Captain's like, please don't show me that. I need to leave now. I really need to leave now. And he just kind of like just fast walks like out of the room.
But hold on,
But it's so pretty!
I
While
start
he's
walking up
starting
the
Let's
to
just
wall.
leave him alone. He hates us enough.
While he's turning around, I'm gonna say, I got a cool sword, and I'll just hold up the hilt.
You see Amon's just like laughing over in the side there.
This is the worst type of fortune.
He gets it. Amon gets it.
Oh boy.
He tells you, it's like, more than likely our friend Gadrin is several ales deep at the tavern by now. He's not going to be answering that sending stone anytime soon. I'll send a couple of men to go and relay a message.
Well, I
should
wanted to
send
go
our-
to the tavern anyways.
We should
Appreciate
send our
it.
rogue friend there.
No.
Oh, yeah, they'll love him now.
So he's like, yes, like I will make sure the rooms are available to you. You rest comfortably here. If you have any business in the town, you can go and take care of that. I'll say that you guys it's probably morning. I'll say that you guys get here at morning, so you have the day in town to tie up any loose ends. Amon tells you, it's like, I will speak with our friend Graf as well, and get in touch with you before you leave, and we'll see if we can sort some of this time shenanigan business out. But in the meantime, it is good to see you all again.
I got a question. Was I muted the entire time I said that it might be SRX plane that caused the time dilation?
No.
No.
Okay. Because I looked back and I'm like, oh wait, I was muted, I think. Yeah. One day it's not enough for me to do anything.
Let's go see the old lady. Let her know we're alive. And that
I'm
was
sure.
not.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be thrilled.
Before we leave, can I ask Amon if he knows any tips on how to deal with animated rope?
Sure.
Take one out of the chip.
You kind of like, Yeah, you kind of like pull off like part of your cloak, and he sees that there's this like rope that's just like entangled itself around like your arms and chest. And he's like, "Oh, look at what you have." And then he kind of, the rope kind of like slithers out, kind of like a snake, a little bit. And he kind of like,
Like a cat's tail.
yeah, he like this. And he kind of like he seems to be like gently kind of like coaxing the rope out by like kind of like whispering and like rubbing his fingers together. And as the rope kind of like moves out, he just bonks it like on the end with like his staff, like good and solid. He's like, "No!"
He's not gonna.
And then you feel the rope kind of go limp, and it just kind of it just kind of like settles. You basically feel it like all the tension like leave it. And he's like, "That should do it for a while."
I thought he just like dispelled magic. That's just a normal rope. There.
Nope. It's like the trick to animated objects is you have to be firm with them. Don't let if they try to if they figure out that they're the boss, then they'll never listen to a thing you say.
Oh yeah, listen anyways.
He's like,
Okay.
"So,
Start
is
smacking
there
the
anything
rope.
else?"
I
Guess
guess.
not.
It's...
Oh, actually, Amon, well, obviously he's like the wizardy type. I'm gonna show him Graf's amulet and ask him
And
if
the
he
and the
has...
stone.
the orange
I don't know
stone.
about, I don't know about
Yes,
that. We already know
the
what it does,
amber
don't we?
stone.
No, we don't know what the orange stone does.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
then
I understand.
Well, amulet first. I'm gonna ask him what the deal with this thing is. Graf gave it to us before we went to Barovia. Seemed to give us some sort of passage out of there.
So he kind of like takes it and he's like holding it up. He produces a jeweler's loop from his one of his folds in his robe. And he kind of like looking it over. He's like, "Ah, yes, these Graf described these in great detail to me.
They
They
didn't tell us shit.
says, it seems that he was able to distill the essence of the Vistani curse and use a connection to the Vistani to imbue these amulets with a sort of warding power in Barovia. From what he's told me, the Vistani roam freely from the land of Barovia due to a pact that Strahd made, blessing them and giving them safe passage to and from his lands. He's able to sort of pervert a Vistani curse in a way to create these amulets to sort of offer a sliver of that Vistani protection to its wearer. Like
Alright.
how he was able to sort of come up with this is anyone's guess, but I feel like secrets such as these is not something the Vistani would part with easily.
Of course. And then I guess I'll give him, or like pull out the orb and say, we found this in the tomb where we were thrown out. Would be nice to know exactly what it does. Seeing as our wizardly type is gone.
So he tells you, "Is like, yes, you should get another one of those. They're very handy to have." Speaking from experience. So he kind of looks at the orb. He doesn't like take it from you. He just kind of like looks it over in your hand.
What do you
He's
say
like,
he's gonna do without a wizard?
Dangerous, extremely dangerous. This is, this is a desecrated object. This stone. You see him kind of like start conjuring some kind of spells on it. It's like this. This is able to cast a wish spell, but I sense that it would have extremely dire consequences for whoever were to use it to call for this wish. Like, where exactly did you find such an evil relic?
On some dead bodies that were burned to a crisp.
Tomb of, the tomb where
There,
Acerak was laid to rest.
there was a trap
What's your problem, Cat?
In the
That's what you
trash.
get for sitting on my book.
I mean, I just told him there's a bunch of, I found a bunch of dead bodies that were burned to a crisp.
At the bottom of a 100-foot pit.
Yep.
Get an
He,
evil
he
ass-
tells you if you were to ask for this wish, I feel like being these burnt to a crisp bodies probably tried to use the power of this orb, and it was either the side effect of their wish that caused their deaths or something else from this orb entirely. It tells you it's a very powerful yet very dangerous object.
I'll be sure to be extra careful with it.
He,
Yeah,
Hey,
I'll
it's
just
not me this
stow it away.
time that's stuck
he
with
tells
the...
you if you would like, I can have it destroyed for you.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, come in handy later.
Like,
Ooh, you
are
could totally
we
give it
ever going to actually use it?
You could totally
We-
give it off to someone and tell
Yeah,
them
yeah,
that
that's the
it's a
thing.
wish
I was
sword.
just saying that.
Yeah, but
I'll
you really
keep
want
hold of
this
it for
guy
now.
conscience?
Yes.
I mean, you don't care, but
They're gonna ask for like hookers, and then the hookers are gonna show up and explode.
Okay,
The hookers
I don't
totally
think
suck
we'd
at
give
this.
it to just any random dude.
Oh. I was talking about Hobo Joe on. Okay, never mind.
I'll
We'll get rid
I'll
of
stow it away for now.
I'm scared of it.
If I change my mind later, I'll be sure to come back to you.
It's like, okay, my magical shredder is always available.
Is that it? I don't think we have anything else.
Do we have any other random ass magic stuff we need identified?
You want a pie?
I've got a book,
Don't
but I don't
eat
think
the
there's
pie.
anything in it. I just stole it. No. Oh,
I have
can't
a
think of it.
halberd with black symbol.
What? Oh,
Oh, that's
the black
one of the
symbol's
black
on
arrow. That's probably
Oh,
one
yeah,
of the
that's what
black
I
arrow
thought.
halberds. Unless we think, I don't know, the great sword has anything.
I doubt it, but you can go for it.
I shouldn't even be carrying this thing. Why am I carrying it? I should have
Because
given
you
it to Pyro.
said you would take it.
I feel
What
like
you
Dusty.
do. Anytime something's offered, you're like, I'll take it.
I feel like Dusty
Wasn't
might have
so
looked
much offered, I
that
just
one
took
over
it.
though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dusty identified the great sword. It's just
Okay.
a +2 great sword.
Does a lot
You
of-
guys are basically just like throwing like whatever objects you've got like in your post. It's like, well, what about this? Look at this. Can you look
I
at
don't
this?
want it. Pyro, if you don't want it, you just like leave it somewhere.
You can sell it.
Oh,
Couldn't try to sell it.
I'll hold on to it, I guess. Just throw it in my bag.
It'll be easier for the paladin to carry a sword than the bard.
I should ask him
I'll
if he's
take
heard
it.
any word from Long Saddle since I've been gone.
The hell is a long saddle?
Where I
It's
live.
home.
Oh.
Because it's been a while since I was there.
So he
Apparently.
tells you Long Saddle. Yes. We heard words that it was one of the outlying settlements that the Githyanki began attacking. There was some minor damage to the town. It and Tribor were two of the earliest ones to be attacked here in the northern settlements. A large contingent of men from on the map. Damn it, I need a map. Oh god, why did that open like that? Why is nothing... Oh, that's why. Because I'm trying to open maps in like the wrong spot. He tells you that, we sent some men from Neverwinter. We also, some of the elves of the High Forest were also sent, along with, a few troops from Luskin, of all places. Some of the mercenaries from Luskin were sent as well to sort of fortify Long Saddle and Tribor. A lot of the areas along the long road and the Tribor Trail fell under attack. Towns like Fandolin, Red Larch, Westridge. Um, at first, the captain and some of the others were worried that they're just trying to draw our troops out into the open to attack them, but they were able to take back the cities without too much effort. And ever since then, they've held them, and there's been no further attacks from the Githyanki as far as we know.
Were they after anything, or were they just attacking?
So far, it seems like they seem to almost just be prodding at us, trying to find holes in our defenses, trying to force us to move troops around all over the Sword Coast. Perhaps thinning out our defenses in some areas for a more concerted attack. Actually, I closed the captain because the captain's gone. Captain pieced the fuck out of this conversation.
Alright.
Okay, thanks.
It's like, well, I will see you all in the morning. And then he has somebody show you to your rooms, and from there you are free to move about the town or just get some sleep for your long flight in the morning. You got a transcontinental flight. That's probably the wrong word for what I'm thinking of.
Alright, well, Pyro, you said you wanted to go back to the tavern for whatever reason? Or I don't remember which tavern you said.
The one by the harbor, by the docks.
The Driftwood
Why?
Tavern.
Why not? It's the only tavern we've been to.
Well,
I
you
mean,
guys
it was
also
also-
started. You also
yeah.
started the campaign in a tavern.
Tavern. Yeah,
And
next
I also
to-
wanted to go back there, see the old lady.
No, the old lady's in the
Sure.
Fallen Tower tavern.
Yeah.
You just walk around. I'm just following you. I don't wanna...
I'm gonna go to
like-
my library.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I can go visit my dad while I'm in town. Should probably do that.
So, yeah, Pyro goes drinking. You head to the Driftwood Tavern. Sadly, you do not run into Gadrin. He doesn't seem to be there. He may have moved on to a different tavern at this point. You're not sure. Asking around, the proprietor has definitely heard of him. So you go drinking. The rest of you kind of mill about, do your various things.
I would probably wander to various blacksmiths and clockwork people, like people that are dealing with gears and stuff like that, but one day is not long enough for me to get anything done, so I will come
What
back.
exactly are you trying to do?
I'm trying to make a repeating pistol.
Well, considering how the ammo, considering it's like loaded like an old flintlock, or it's like an old muzzle loader, like you don't think that's gonna be extremely possible, because
was
you have to
thinking-
like stuff the charge in and then like
I was
put like
thinking
the bulb.
rotating barrels.
Oh, and have them and preload them.
Yeah. So it'd be like 6 shots, and then you have to spend a long time to reload.
You have to spend like a day to reload it.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have enough time to get anything done, so I'm just wasting my day.
Give me a investigation check. So you eventually find a craftsman that understands, that kind of gets the gist of what you're trying to do, and thinks that they might be able to work with you in trying to produce this thing, but it will take time, considerable amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot longer than a day.
I will show them like all my sketches that I've made of what I planned. That's why I took apart the guns so I could understand how they work better. I dropped my cookie.
But yeah, he thinks he may be able to construct something with like 4 different barrels on it that essentially all can like do the same thing, but loading it would be a considerable task. But he's says like if we were to even try this, it would take days. I can't even guarantee it would work.
Days just to prototype it, let alone. Yeah. I don't have the time to do that. Maybe if I get caught in another place, you can have like 50 of them made as I'm gone for a year for no reason.
Yeah, you should have if you'd left it with him before you went through the time warp. Maybe you'd have one done for you by now.
To be fair, I literally got my gun. We went to the guy, and he's like, "Oh, we're sending you off this way." It's like, okay. Kept doing that.
If nobody else has any business in town,
You wanna?
Yeah, I'm just sort of milling around doing personal stuff.
Did you wanna do her talking to her father?
Don't think so. You just stay there the night, actually, instead of going to Castle Never.
I don't know, I'm sure your house isn't nearly as nice as Castle Never.
Probably not, but it's a thought that counts.
Yep. So, Wacky, spend some quality time with your family. The rest of you spend your evenings at the castle.
I have no family.
I'd probably go off and visit the place where Lark was laid to rest as well.
With some business concerning a certain small creature in my library.
If you guys get back, like Lodge has been in his room the entire time, just like passed out on dream pastry. You figure he's probably getting the most of it now because it's probably like his stash of them's probably only got like another day or 2 left of shelf life. So you guys come in, there's just like bits of pie like everywhere. Like he figures like he may not wake up for another 9 months. Like you might see Lawaj again in the next time jump.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
So, as you guys are sleeping,
Rod appears, tortures us in our sleep again.
a couple of you are woken up by, I'll say, Pyro. You and Jez are woken up. Like you guys kind of come to, and you hear the sounds of not struggle, but you can hear like what sounds like somebody fighting something or knocking things over, or it definitely sounds like somebody's having it something. And you can hear some sort of angry shouting coming from down one of the halls.
I will go investigate.
We're in separate rooms, right?
Yep.
Or
Yeah,
we're
so
all in the same-
Pyro, you poke your head out. Jez, like, you see Jez's door open, he pokes his head out. And you guys can hear this. It's kind of echoing down, like, various corridors from some other end of the castle. Someone seems to be breaking something or just getting angry at something somewhere.
I'm gonna look at Jazz and we're just like, you wanna check this out?
Well, I'll start sneaking that way
So,
so that I don't disturb what's happening.
I'm gonna have
Before
my
I
sword
see
with
it.
me. I've grabbed my sword. Case.
I have
So-
my lightsaber.
so you guys kind of start, like, creeping down the hallway. And, you guys get about, 2 or 3 halls down. You kind of, like, get to the end of the hall. You make, like, a turn down another hallway. You turn down, like, another hallway, go up some stairs. And you
Sounded
run
familiar.
into Captain Belgard. And, he sees you guys skulking around with weapons in hand. And he's like, what the hell are you two doing?
What the hell are you
Go
doing?
get some sleep.
It was a scuffle.
And, like, as you're talking to him, you hear the scuffle, like, sort of going on again, slightly closer, or perhaps, like, maybe it's echoing a little bit easier for you to hear now. And you see the captain kind of look in that direction. He's like, don't worry about that. That's probably my problem to deal with.
That sounds like someone that's been taken over by a body snatcher.
He's like, no, that's just... That's...
Are you the
In
real
some
Captain
ways, that's a
Belgard?
bigger pain in the ass than a lot of you.
Are you the real
Worse
Captain
than
Belgard?
us. This
Tell me
I have to
truthfully.
see. I'm gonna try and go see.
So, you start making your way down the hall.
I want to insight him to make sure he's a real person.
Okay, give me an insight check. Seems real to you. Seems real annoyed, too. He does seem really annoyed, but for the first time you feel like he's not annoyed at you. And you by the time you finish eyeing him up, and he sees you just, like, staring, like, dead straight into his eyes, and it's kind of starting to creep him out. And he kind of looks, and Pyro's already, like, fucking halfway down the hall again.
I literally did ask him, are you real?
He's like, I don't have time to deal with you people. And he goes and, like, kind of chases off after Pyro.
To be fair, we have precedents.
So,
I guess we'll follow.
okay, so Jez goes and chases after Belgard. You guys make it out to the hall. You end up in one of the big audience halls, and there you see like a big crowd of castle guardsmen, and they seem to be brandishing their weapons, but like the look on all their face, like they all seem to be looking back and forth at each other, like almost concerned or unsure. And you see that they have an older man surrounded. He seems to be wearing like big, bulky kind of plate mail, very sort of fancy looking, if not a little worn. Pyro, you would probably recognize him as the King of Neverwinter, Orin Than. And being that you are a Neverwinter a former Neverwinter soldier, you recognize that he's probably drunk and trying to fight all of his guards again, because it happens sometimes.
It's like, oh, I remember this
He's
shit.
like, oh yeah, he's tried to fight me once.
That was good times, good times.
You gotta grab Jez, and you're like pointing at the
25 feet
guards.
away.
You're pointing at the guards like, that was me once.
I'm gonna make sure I'm at least 25 feet away.
you see the king just take wild swings at the air, and you see a couple of the guards' swords just get cleaved in two. He just starts swinging around in place, and they're all kind of a good 20 feet back from him, and a couple of swords just kind of fall apart, and another one's shield just kind of splinters. And, the captain finally kind of, pushes his way through and settles him down. And,
Good times, good times.
he kind of, looks at the two of you and kind of starts, doing, head motions, violent head motions, get out of here.
Get out of here before we're attacked.
Yeah. So, you guys continue back to your beds. A few of the guards kind of, follow you in that direction. Not specifically following you, but also just kind of moving back and going back to their posts.
At least you wouldn't be able to cut through my sword.
Same.
Yep. You're walking around brandishing a hilt. Pyro's just got, his long sword out.
One of the guard probably turns around. It's like, whoa, he got your sword clean off from back here.
Guards will... You hear a couple of the guards, as you're heading back to your rooms, it's he's getting worse, isn't he? Ever since these attacks, these just random Githyanki attacks, it's like a caged animal in here. It's not gonna get any better, is it? I'm no, probably not. And you guys head back to bed, and you go to sleep, and that is where we are going to end things for tonight. And next week, we will start your journey to Chult. Because I decided, fuck it, I'm giving up. I'm just going to do the same thing everybody else is doing. Tomb of Annihilation.
As soon as you're like, oh, starts talking about the Soulmonger, I'm like, Okay.
Yeah,
see
I
what-
pulled the escape cord, and I was like, you know what?
Unfortunately, I've
Screw
already
it.
thumbed through the book, so I might know a little bit.
The only thing I know about Chult is the little Kadama creatures. They're awesome.
There's dinosaurs.
There is
Okay, now I'm
dinosaurs.
excited.
So, we will pick up things next week.
You
Now
shouldn't
we're
have
back.
said that. You should've let them live in wonder.
Yeah, that is true. So, we will pick things up next week. Thank you guys for coming out. We will continue things. Hopefully, maybe I can get better cam software going for next week. Maybe, who knows. Roll20 kind of works, but yeah.
Hopefully, I'll have a cam next week.
Anyways, thank you for coming out. We will see you next week as we make our way to Chult.
Make our
So-
way downtown.
Oh wait, I need my. And I'm so bad at this. I'm out of practice. Thanks for coming, guys. See you next week.